Line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage begins at 5:30 today, right after the Drive Guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome in to the Drive Guys.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yeah, welcome to the Sacramento Kings pregame show. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. We got Kings basketball tonight against the hated Lakers, but not all the hated Lakers will be participating, will they?
Yeah, no LeBron James tonight. Boo-hoo-hoo. Sad not that he's not playing. Not really, but, preseason, it's all about us. It's not about Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves. I'm not going to be looking at those guys. I'm going to be looking to see what our guys do, our Kings do.
By the way, we're brought to you by the NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Kyle, are the Kings-Lakers, I know right now this doesn't matter tonight, is that a bigger rivalry for the Kings or is the Warriors? Warriors-Kings right now is the rivalry for the Kings, right?
I think it's Warriors right now. I think, this last year showed me not only a rivalry on the court, but a rivalry between the fan bases. Think about it. They had never been in the playoffs at the same time. They had never obviously faced off in the playoffs. And so we get that first Golden State Sacramento series, and it brought out the best and worst of people. And so, I know the hatred was there with the Lakers, especially when both were vying for a championship. But right now, the Lakers, sure, they're a rival, but I would rather beat the Warriors right now because then you could talk trash to your neighbor. You could talk trash to your cousin who lives in the Bay Area. You could talk trash at school. The kids can, and so I just feel like, if we can shut those Warrior fans up, to me, that means more to me than shutting up Lakers fans.
I feel like I should apologize. We were talking on the crossover about the fact that, I'll be honest, I'm not proud of it, but I'm starting to have a little anxiety about this season. I think you maybe hit the nail on the head. If you've been around the Kings a long time, it's kind of like being a Cubs fan in a way, right? Where you start to think, what could go wrong? Right. It's just, we do know this. The West there's a chance it's going to be just a dogfight the whole way through. That's what concerns me more than anything.
Yeah, it's going to be loaded, no doubt about it. But wasn't it loaded last year? Though?
Yes,
the West was tough last year, and the Kings did extremely well. And I go back to something I said the other day about Sacramento. They won 48 games, Whitey. But really, this should have been a 53 kind of win team, 52 kind of win team. And people will say, well, look at some of the teams they beat. Maybe they don't get those wins. But there's no way that they should lose home to Charlotte, Washington, and the Sixers without Joel Embiid and, James Harden. I mean, those are so we did have some head-scratching losses last season. And so, it may be a dogfight this year, but I'm basing it on the Kings should have won 51, 52 games. And so if they drop back down to 48, 47, you know what? It's because of a dogfight in the Western Conference. I think they're more like that than a 44-win team or 43-win team.
I know they're capable of winning 50 games, but if they don't, and if they end up in the play-in, which I know right now that seems kind of laughable. If they are, I hope people are able to deal with that. It all depends on how it happens. But I hope people don't, if it comes to that, And we don't need to spend a lot of time on this because we don't know whether it will or not. But I hope people don't start saying, oh, well, last year they were better. So, look, they're going the wrong way. Just getting into the playoffs to me this year, it's still an accomplishment. I expect they will, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. It was a long time, 18 years when they weren't in the playoffs. They get back in the playoffs this year. That is an accomplishment.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Getting into the play-in, let's say you're that 7 seed.
And I hope they don't. I hope they avoid that.
And I'm talking, a day or two before the actual game. Kings fans shouldn't be disappointed in that. Like,
at that
getting
point,
into the play-in, there is a sort of a stigma with it,
sure.
right? There's something with it because you're not quite in.
Right.
Now, once you do win the game, once you do advance and you're in the playoffs, then you could be the Miami Heat of last year. But just for that 48-hour stretch, where, you're not quite in yet, I would be a little disappointed, man.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't think there would be need to be. And obviously, it depends how it happens. If there's some catastrophic injury and it takes them all season to overcome that, you could understand it. To me, you get into the playoffs, whether it's a top 4 seed or whether you have to sneak in the back door, the play-in. To me, for the Kings, that is a realistic, attainable, and a goal that everyone should feel good about as far as fans if they get into the playoffs this year. And I expect they will.
Yeah, I expect them to get in, and maybe I'm being greedy or my expectations are too high, but I don't want to just see this team in the playoffs.
Oh, I know.
To me, they got to win a series. And if they're in the play-in, that's going to be tough.
Like you said, look at Miami. You brought it out.
It can be done. It can happen. But, maybe I'm just looking for more growth from this team. And to your point, you might be right. They could be a better team. But because of how loaded the Western Conference is, it may not reflect in the record. I think ultimately what it's going to come down to for me is, what do you do in the postseason? If you are, let's say, the 7th seed, but you win a round, that's a good season, right? I'll take that, And so I think, the Kings won't be judged necessarily. Same thing, with the Niners to an extent. It's not about the regular season. We know you can get to the playoffs, but how deep can you go? That's what I want to see from the Kings.
What I'm getting at, I understand what you're saying, and it's good to be, as a fan, positive. And I'm not trying to, look at it from a negative standpoint. But I remember the Vlade, Weber, Kings, they made the playoffs in that lockout year in 99. They lost. They barely lost to the Jazz. Great series. But they were in the playoffs. Next year, they lost to the Lakers in that first round series. It wasn't until the following year that they actually won a series. They had never in their history won a playoff series in Sacramento. So it took a number of years, and then they were on their way, and they had a chance to win a championship. Didn't happen. So all I'm saying is, let's not get ahead of ourselves and get our expectations.
I was wondering, are you tempering expectations a little bit?
I think it'd be wise as a fan not to assume that, they're a top 4 seed and, they're going to the conference finals. Maybe they are, but I think we can still enjoy this season. Just to me, hey, are they in the playoffs? Are they in the playoff picture? To me, that's a positive as well.
I was going to ask you that because what are the expectations? Because if Mike Brown is talking championship, why can't we? Why, if the players are talking like that, why can't we expect that also? And so that's my thing. And I get it. The West is loaded. Teams have gotten better. Memphis is in the mix, a healthy Zion, Minnesota, Anthony. I get all that. But you play to be the best you can possibly be.
Right.
And so if Mike Brown is expecting once these guys to think championship, I got to think it too. I feel like,
that's good. That's all great.
A 7-8 seed, you know what? It may happen. I feel like, when you look at a season, the more information you get, you're allowed to amend your expectations,
right?
Let's say. And so if they win 60 games, just throw that out there. Well, I expect them to be in the NBA Finals.
60.
No, I'm just throwing that out there.
Possible.
If they win 60 games and they're number 1 or 2 seed, I expect NBA Finals. Now, if they're a 7-8 seed, like you said, play-in, then you got to sort of amend, maybe, we're not as good as we thought, but you could still make a run. I don't believe Miami went into last season thinking, you know what? Boston and Milwaukee, they're pretty tough. So, you got to have that championship mentality. I don't think the Warriors went into last season thinking, man, everybody's so good. If we can just get in I think they're thinking championship or bust. And that's where I think Mike Brown wants this Kings team to think.
Manny, too legit on the chat says 60 games would be insane. He does expect the Kings to get to it's certainly possible. Does expect the Kings to get to the second round in the playoffs. The end says fans just want to see good competitive basketball. The Kings play like they did last year and make some strides on the defensive end. Playoffs and beyond is a reasonable expectation. And that's what concerns me is how is this team going to improve enough to become a legitimate contender if they don't get better defensively? There you go. That's right. My concern.
Yeah, I agree with you. The defense has to be better. And, if the defense is better during the regular season, like I said earlier, you win a few more games. You don't face Golden State in the first round. You have an easier opponent maybe in the first round and can advance. And so, it's just like, we were talking about, I mentioned yesterday with the Niners, they're playing for a championship while the Cowboys were just playing to get into the tournament. I felt like at times last season, the Kings were playing just to break the streak,
Mm-hmm.
And now that you've done that, now you got to play for home court advantage in the first round. Now you got to play for the highest seed that you can possibly get. Just getting to the playoffs, that's not our goal anymore. To me, that doesn't constitute a good season anymore. This Sacramento Kings team should be better than that.
I understand that. I think both things can be true in my view. And again, it depends how it happens, what the specifics are. But to me, if the Kings get back to the playoffs this year, that is an accomplishment in and of itself after so many years of wandering. By the way, did you have a problem as I did with the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is ranked ahead of De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis?
Yes, I did have a problem with that. That's one of the things I wrote down. Karl Anthony Towns ranked 20th in the ESPN top 50, Fox 24th, Sabonis 23rd. But there was another thing that had me upset about the rankings. Another player ahead of De'Aaron Fox got me upset when I looked at it earlier this morning.
We will take a quick timeout. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 3 o'clock hour. Former NBA player Damien Wilkins is going to join us, and we'll be right back. And we'll be hearing Kyle Draper, what he's so upset about with these rankings today. It's next here. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Kings tonight, of course, taking on the Lakers in Anaheim. Former home of the ABA's Anaheim. Do you know this one, Kyle? The ABA had a team in Anaheim. The Anaheim...
You're going to say it, and I'm going to know it.
They weren't around long. It was the Anaheim Amigos. You ever heard of it?
I don't know if I remember that one. I don't know. ABA Anaheim Amigos. You stumped me on that one. That's a good one.
And I think that team became the LA Stars, and they became the Utah Stars, and blah, 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 blah. We're getting ready for the game tonight. by talking, among other things, about the latest iteration that came out today of the ESPN top 100 NBA players. Now, they still haven't named the top 10.
Right.
We don't expect any Kings to be in there. They announced today, numbers 11 through 50?
Yeah, 11 through 50.
And there's only 2 Kings on here, which means in the whole 100, going back to the bottom 50 yesterday that they announced, you got Harrison Barnes, and then you got Sabonis, and you got Fox. Those are the only 3 players, according to ESPN, from the Kings that are among the top 100 players in the NBA.
No Keegan Murray, who was, first team all rookie a season ago. No Kevin Huerter, no Malik Monk. That's a little shocking. A little shocking. I thought we'd at least get 4 guys out of the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, you get 1 guy between 24 and 100, what was Harrison Barnes, 96?
Yeah.
I think he was. That's a little disappointing, but, our guys aren't flashy, though, either, Our guys aren't, Sports Center top 10 highlight kind of guys. And so I'm not too upset about that. We let our talking do, on the court. We do our talking on the floor, not in the preseason rankings.
On the other hand, Kawhi Leonard is 24, and then you got De'Aaron Fox 23rd and Sabonis 22nd. So, there's some upside.
That's some
there.
good love, right? Ahead of Kawhi.
Yeah. But then it goes Tyrese Halliburton 21st.
And I'm going to stop right there. Right there, because
Tyrese.
I understand it's a love affair with Tyrese. He's fun. He's my guy. I understand that. He smiles all the time. He makes people better. But are we really saying right at this second Tyrese Halliburton is better than De'Aaron Fox? Are we really saying that? And that's what ESPN is saying. De'Aaron Fox was 3rd team All-NBA. Think about that. When you're an All-NBA performer, you're one of the top 15 players in the league. That's what kind of season De'Aaron Fox had last season. Tyrese Halliburton, if I'm correct, didn't make that. I don't think Tyrese was an All-NBA guy.
No, he was. He made his first All-Star.
He made his first All-Star team. Clap it up, give him a nice little golf clap.
And he came off the bench in the FIBA World Cup and played well.
And he finished 2nd in assists. He was a great player. He had a great season. But not only did De'Aaron Fox make the All-Star team, not only did De'Aaron Fox make 3rd team All-NBA, not only did De'Aaron Fox's team make the playoffs, De'Aaron Fox was the most clutch player in the entire NBA. And so I think it has more to do when you talk about these rankings and the difference between Tyrese and Fox. And I understand it's not big of a difference. Fox 24, Tyrese 21. But Tyrese is lovable. He's smiling. He's affable. People, like him. And De'Aaron Fox doesn't really play the media game that well. We heard him last week say he doesn't care about the Olympics, So De'Aaron Fox isn't that guy when it comes to that. But to have Tyrese Halliburton ahead of him already, I think that's a joke to me. I'm not happy about that.
Here's the double slap in the face for De'Aaron Fox. He's ranked, as we said, 23rd. So, and this is Malika Andrews, and obviously she knows what she's talking about. This is, let's see, 2022 NBA ranked 54th. Why he rose 31 spots. Or maybe it's Kendra. It's probably Kendra Andrews who wrote that.
Yeah, probably Kendra. Yeah.
They both know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Why he rose 31 spots. His huge year, Fox's huge year, it didn't hurt that he played with the most complete team he's ever played with. So, in other words, why was he so good? Oh, yeah, better players around him. So that's kind of a slight to him, right? But the other players that they mentioned, like Keegan and Malik Monk, they weren't good enough to put in the top.
In their top 100, right? No, you're right about that.
Yeah, so that was, in a way, kind of disrespectful. Can he follow up? How can he follow up his breakout year? It's almost, and that's my point here about all of these rankings and polls that are coming out. It seems to be a media consensus, even though it's different people writing these, that the Kings, you know what? We don't want to say, but they were a little lucky last year. They weren't really that good. Doesn't that seem to be the underlying?
Yeah, that with all these rankings and projections and all that, that people think, well, the Warriors, they only won 1 game on the road or whatever their road record was, 7 or 8 games I think they won last year on the road. They're going to be better. And it goes to what I said the other day. All these other teams get the benefit of the doubt, but people look at reasons why the Kings aren't as good instead of validating, why they were that good. The reason why they were so good last season, Fox played like an all-NBA guy. Sabonis was great. Forget all the rankings, a Bleacher Report about Sabonis. He was an all-star. He played great. Mike Brown was great. The offense was great. Guys gutted through injuries. They could have sat out. Sabonis could have sat out. Keegan could have. Fox could have missed some games, even more games as well. But they didn't. They decided to play. And I feel like their decision to play is being held against them, sort of used against them this year going into it. Like, there's no way they can be as healthy. And so it's you're right about the double slant, I guess, right, to Fox. I didn't read it like that at first, but when you brought that up, I was like, yeah, you're right. It didn't hurt that he had a complete team. Well, when you're a good team, you usually have a complete team. Jokic, as great as he is, they have a complete team. Right. You look at the Celtics, Milwaukee, they have good players around them. And you can't fault De'Aaron Fox for that.
I also have a bit of an issue with the fact that ranked number 20, so right ahead of Halliburton and Sabonis and Fox, is Karl Anthony Towns. And that's reputation, because last year he was 13th, and I understand he was the first player picked in the draft. But it's funny, the rundown of him says, it's possible if he's healthy, he'll remind us of why he was an all-NBA third-team pick in 2022. Well, Fox and Sabonis were all-NBA third team last year. Right. And you have them behind him. But I get it. It's reputation.
Yeah, it's reputation. But, and it's Pelton, I guess Kevin Pelton wrote this. Yeah. Our guy, Kevin Pelton. But he doesn't actually make a case for Karl Anthony Towns other than if he's healthy. Like it's other than, adjusting to Rudy Gobert. No, why don't you say Karl Anthony Towns added this to his game, or Karl Anthony Towns, will shoot better. So it's always, when you look at it, he doesn't really give a firm reason why he thinks Karl Anthony Towns is going to be better. It's hoping, sort of, it's guessing, if he stays healthy. To your point, it's based on reputation. It's not based on what we saw this past season. It's based on what we saw in 2021, 2022.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me most of all about these rankings. It's one thing for the national media to get it wrong about the Kings. Kyle, that's been happening for decades.
Right.
People nationally, the media, sometimes it takes them 2 months to catch up with what's really going on with the Kings. But the underlying suggestion here is what the Kings did last year, they weren't really that good. And that's what bothers me.
Yeah, it was a one-hit wonder kind of thing. Oh, they can't do it again, can they? And so, to the Kings' point, maybe they use that as a chip on their shoulder, out to prove people wrong once again. And I will say, we understand how long it's been since the Kings have been a winner. We understand the drought. The Kings were sort of the laughingstock of the league. But when you watch this organization day in and day out, like we do here in Sacramento, when you listen to Mike Brown, this organization has made a complete 180 from what it was in the past. Like, they're a stable organization now. They have a great GM. Mike Brown is the coach of the year. When could we have really said that about Sacramento during those lean years where the GM was great? The coach was, had the backing of everybody. He was firm. He was solid. We go into this season for the first time, in a long time, not questioning the future of the coach, the GM. Will one of our stars be traded? And so this is a completely different Kings organization than what, ESPN has been used to.
Yeah. During those lean years, you had to squint as a Kings fan. And then you could kind of see maybe like, George Karl was a really good coach, and Boogie, he's an all-star, and maybe, or hey, with Rudy Gay and Mike Malone, they're making strides, and just maybe, I don't know, maybe with Isaiah Thomas, maybe they're a playoff team. But now you saw it, it, everybody, and they know it too, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly, and they know it on the inside there with this Kings organization. I love the fact that Mike Brown is talking championship. He's holding guys accountable. I love that Monte McNair is not listening to the outside noise. He has a vision. He has a plan, and ESPN be damned, he's going to do what he's going to do. And so we're seeing the fruits of that labor. The Tyrese Halliburton trade, he got roasted for that. He got gutted for that. Everybody thought it was a horrible trade. But now look at it. Sure, Tyrese is great, but Sacramento isn't where it is if Monte McNair doesn't make that trade.
Real quick here, just to wrap it up. And we'll probably revisit these rankings at some point here. But here's 4 players that fell the furthest in these rankings. You've got Chris Paul, who was number 21 last season. Now they have him at 76.
Ooh.
You got Cade Cunningham, who was number 35 last year and fell to 74th. Well, he just didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah.
And I think there was a time when he would have come back and played. Don't you think? The way the NBA is now is like, hey, you know what? We're trying to get Wemby, so just take it easy.
Take your time. Yeah.
Yeah. Rudy Gobert fell from number 18 last year to number 64 this year.
Oh, man.
I think he should have fallen farther. And then James Harden, number 11 last year.
In what world was James Harden number 11 last year? Though? He was probably like number 25 last year in my book, and now he's 43. John Morant took a big dive as well. John Morant, I think, I need to pull it up here, but he was way up there. But then the gun incident and all that last year, I think that, really moved him down. I think he's like in the 30s or 40s right now, believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah, and then the 4 biggest gainers, Shea went from number 48 last year to he's top 10 this year, somewhere in the top 10. Lauri Markkanen, not ranked last year, this year 28th. Paolo Banchero, number 82 last year, this year ranked 30th. And his teammate, Franz Wagner, one of my favorites, not ranked last year. They have him at 52. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, Orlando they're building something. They got some nice young talent out there in Orlando for sure.
Doesn't it seem like everybody?
Right. Everybody has
got a lot
some
of
nice young talent. Oh, you're right about that.
When we come back, the NFL is considering a T-shirt fine for George Kittle. And, Purdy surges to the top of quarterback rankings. Well, I know Kyle will want to get to that when we come back here. Drive Guys, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million be? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Quick Quack Car Wash.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast will spotlight plenty of sunshine. But with that sunshine, it will be a bright and breezy day as those north winds pick up about 10 to 15 this afternoon. Expect daytime highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
There's just something about fall that makes me want to enjoy every moment. The changing leaves, the pumpkin patches, and you know what else won't last? Quick Quack's new pumpkin spice scented car wash. Text SPICE to 41284 to get 50% off any wash.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
The NorCal Sportsman Show is coming October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Get huge year-end deals on everything outdoor. Hunting, fishing, camping, golf, and more. Plus free interactive family activities, live music, the Big O Tires Custom Car Show, and a real catch and release pond from Fisherman's Warehouse. Don't miss this first ever event, sponsored by Roseville Auto Mall. Get your tickets now at NorCalSportsmanShow.com. That's NorCalSportsmanShow.com.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
The biggest sale of the year with up to $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew cabs. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP and get thousands more with 0% financing for 72 months.
Pretty much all your Rams are on sale and 0% financing?
Hoblet is always looking out for you, which is why we have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 Crew cabs too. And with over 500 Rams available, we're sure to have your perfect truck at California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
These deals can't last long. See our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. 12,000 total net savings after 6,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 loyalty bonus cash for current owners of Stellantis brand vehicle and $1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from qualifying dealer. Or take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discounts. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Plus 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per $1,000 borrowed. 8,000 total net savings after 3,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible First Responder Association. Tentative each offer. See dealer for details.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. Happy Wednesday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the drive, guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to the drive, guys.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We're going to have Dusty Baker's Houston Astros against Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers for the American League pennant. So who am I going to root for? I don't know if Giants fans are torn over that. Kyle Draper, I'm Weddie Gleason. But it became easy for me last night. Dusty is the guy. I'm going Dusty because I found out that the Astros, all of them in the clubhouse, and now the fans, even during games, they're singing Creed songs. Creed
that did it for you.
Sorry, Boach. Let's go Astros. And, you know, I love Dusty. We all love Dusty. He's from here. Nobody likes the Astros.
That's what I was about to say. Aren't they like the most hated team in the country right now? Nobody likes the Astros right now.
The guy in Creed, is it Scott Stapp? He did a song about the Marlins years ago. And maybe we can find it at some point. I don't know if I want to subject you to it. It is one of the worst songs ever, period. Certainly the worst baseball song. So hearing that the Rangers are in there in the dugout in the clubhouse and they're singing Creed, it's like, that's great. Good for you. Let's go Astros.
Creed's still doing things? Are they still putting out music? Or
I don't know. Not that I know of. But
who has the aux, right? Like somebody needs to take the music out of that person's hands. Like, gosh, Creed wow.
I guess they're all, it's really popular in there. And you got announcers for the Rangers quoting Creed, and it's just not my cup of tea. Meanwhile, and thank you, Kyle, for pointing this out. I don't know if you're a 49er fan, have you seen this yet? George Kittle, he wore the T-shirt against the Cowboys. Speaking of Texas, he wore the T-shirt against the Cowboys that said bleep Dallas. And now, according to Adam Schefter, the NFL, it's a little weird this is being worded, the NFL is considering fining George Kittle for that T-shirt. Under the terms of the NFL's fine schedule, personal messages carry a fine of $10,927. Do you know, Kyle? I have no idea why the league just wouldn't either do it or not. Why
we saw it, right? It's like he wore the shirt. We see it. Everybody's seen it. I mean, this should be cut and dry, right? This is black and white. There's no gray area when it comes to this. And so, like you said, why consider it? Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Kittle would understand too, right? I mean, he clearly broke the rule, right?
Yes, definitely. Now, he was inspired by Gary Plummer, who wore a similar shirt in 1994. And I read an article Monday in which Gary Plummer explained how he got around that rule. The rule is you can't wear something like that on the field. It's illegal.
Right.
So he wore it, but he had someone take a picture of him before he stepped onto the field. He had the T-shirt on. And then he wore it under his jersey, but he didn't reveal that until he came off the field.
And
so
then
he said, technically, you can.
I wasn't on the field. Like, you didn't see it on that I had it on the field.
But Kittle, you can see the picture right there, clearly on the field.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, lifts up his jersey, says blank Dallas. And I'm all for it. Hey, Kittle, go for it, but you're going to get fined for it. But that's another dig at Dallas. Not only do you get your butt kicked 42-10, then you get this guy after the game showing off his F Dallas shirt. I mean, but these are rivals, and this is what happens in rivalries, so I'm not going to get mad at Kittle for doing it.
I can't remember a time when the 49er Dallas rivalry was so one-sided in the favor of the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, there must have been a few years in there. I know when Jerry first took over the Cowboys, they were just terrible,
they were
but
bad.
then it was just they were not relevant.
Right, they weren't relevant.
Two teams have both been
Yeah.
decent. The 49ers have never been this dominant to the point where they're just humiliating the Cowboys.
No, you're right. I mean, and it shouldn't be this way in terms of the disparity between the two. Like the Cowboys before this week, this last beatdown, that people thought they were contenders in the NFC, and like we said the other day, they got exposed big time. And so, everybody, even at Jerry Jones, admitted, the Niners they're at a different level than we are right now. And so the Cowboys were humbled this past week. They went back to Dallas with their tail between their legs, and there's nothing they could do about it except hopefully see the Niners in the postseason.
To that point, it's the best laugh I've gotten all week. I was on NFL.com today, and I'm looking at all the stories. And as you say, you scroll down, and there's stories from the previous weeks. And there was a story there. Are the Dallas Cowboys the best team in the NFL? No!
Was that today?
Yeah, but it was from, last week
or
2 weeks ago. Like, no, I don't think they are. I want to take that down.
Right. That has been proven not to be the case.
Hey, I found something else for you, Kyle.
Oh, shucks.
I know how you love rankings and stats.
Yep, big rankings.
Yeah, every week the Athletic comes up with quarterback rankings based on what they call EPA, which is expected points added. And it's very complicated. We don't need to go into all that, but they update it every week. So right now at the very bottom, this is how guys are playing right now. So forget about reputation, who's done what, how are these guys playing right now? At the very bottom of the NFL, you've got the Jones boys, Mac Jones and Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Very bottom. And then Kenny Pickett's down there. Deshaun Watson's down there. Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, Desmond Ridder, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. Jimmy, by the way, is actually Jimmy's not doing that badly according to these rankings. Jimmy's
I see here
9, 10, 11, 12. He's 12th.
12. Wow.
In the league.
So that should actually show you how worthless these rankings are. But go ahead.
They're great. They get beyond the eye test. I know you're a big eye test guy. And then look at what's really going on. Yeah. So top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, according to EPA. You've got C.J. Stroud, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, 4th Mahomes, 3rd Josh Allen. What could you say? Purdy's better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen third, Tua second. Number one in the National Football League, Brock Purdy.
Is that what you do at night when you go home? Is that look up stats and articles that prove your point about Brock Purdy? What do you mean I can't ignore it? I told you what the whole notion thing about Brock Purdy. All right, I'm going to look at these numbers right here. This article on The Athletic you brought up. Is he a better quarterback than Josh Allen? You think he's on the same? Is he a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
Right now he is. He's having a better year. Right now he's clearly having a better year. That's what I said.
Simone J, clip that. This guy actually said Brock Purdy is a better quarterback.
A better year.
Is he a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
Right now he is. He has been this year.
Okay. So right now, Brock Purdy is the best quarterback in the NFL.
There you go. Facts is facts.
If you're the Niners,
as Draymond says, those are facts.
Are you signing Brock Purdy to a $50 million a year deal?
No, I don't have to.
No, I'm asking you though. Would you reward him because he is the best quarterback? Does he deserve a $50 million a year kind of deal?
Well, no, right now he doesn't, because the way it works, it would be foolish to give him that. If you were forced,
but he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
I know, and you got him
the best quarterback.
A really club-friendly deal. You're right. Kyle Shanahan is a genius.
He's the best quarterback, but he doesn't deserve to be paid like the best quarterback.
Sorry, that's just the timing of it,
that's the proof. That's all I need right there. That. Brock Purdy, even you're not, thinking that he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I get it, Whitey. I get it. He's your guy. He's playing extremely well. But those guys below him, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, they've done some things in the postseason. They need to keep trying.
They might be able to catch Brock.
One day they might be Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy is a great story. He's having a great season. He's putting up some great numbers. But he's not asked to do half the things that all these. Tua is asked to do more than Brock. Josh Allen's asked to do more. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. I can go down the list. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy is asked to do the least with the most amount of weapons in the NFL.
That's because he makes it look so easy. You don't realize how much he's doing. He's doing more than he's asked to do, but he does it so well, it just doesn't look like it. That's the beauty of Brock Purdy. That's the beauty of it.
He's putting up numbers, but if you're a numbers guy, great. If you're all about the stats, black and white, I'm about the eye test. I'm about doing it on the biggest of stages.
Yeah, that's fair.
Eli Manning was not a great regular season quarterback, but he's a multiple Super Bowl winning quarterback. And in my opinion, a Hall of Fame quarterback, not because of the regular season, but because of the postseason. Your reputation is made in the playoffs, Whitey, not what you do week 5 against the lowly Dallas Cowboys.
They weren't lowly until Brock Purdy broke them in half. It does sound like, though, it's one thing to say, well, I'd like to see if he can do it on the bigger stage. To me, it sounds like you're saying he can't.
I don't know. There's a big difference. The jury's out. I don't know if he could do it on the biggest of stages. He went to the NFC Championship game, and the Eagles took him out of the game. Let's see what he does this year. That's been my whole thing about Brock Purdy all along. Not that he's a bum, not that he can't play the quarterback position, but pump the brakes on calling him, Whitey, the best quarterback in the NFL. Pump the brakes on him.
He is.
So
right now he is.
If you could trade Brock Purdy for Pat Mahomes, what would you do?
If I'm the 49ers, given the salaries, no question, I'm taking Brock Purdy. That's not, I don't get that.
You got to add all these qualifiers in.
That's the reality.
I'm telling you, throw out the salary. Or when they do have to pay Brock Purdy next year or whatever, then we can talk about that, Mm-hmm. But throw out the salaries. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. He's a great story. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's fun. He's the guy. He's on Good Morning America, Today Show, whatever show he's been on. He's been great. I get it.
Where are you going to go when he beats your guy for the NFC title, then he beats Mahomes for the Super Bowl? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to hide?
I told you, I'll buy a Brock Purdy jersey. I'll be like, you know what? This dude's legit. I'm not Kyle Shanahan in the offseason after, half a season of work saying he's the real deal. I need to see more. That's it. I'm not going to jump on his bandwagon and pump his tires like you guys are doing around.
You better hurry. There's still a little space left.
Nah, it's not happening.
Little space left, but not much.
It's you know what? He's a good quarterback. He's a great story.
He's playing
great. I'm not saying he is great. He's playing great right now. But to be among the game's elite, to be among the game's greats, You got to do it for an extent. That's a small sample size. That's 5 games in. You're talking 5 games in, and you're pointing at.
Only played this year.
Let me see. Baker Mayfield's on that list. Is Baker Mayfield a top 6 quarterback in the NFL?
Right now, he is. In fact, he's just barely.
How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night, White?
He's just ahead of Goff. Right now, he is.
How do you sleep
That's
at night?
how it works.
Dude?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
You're killing
When
me.
we come back, the NBA's top villain is in midseason form already. And who are the Kings' most wanted villains on other teams? Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason are right back with you. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted, ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner.
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor car track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Question for you, Kyle Draper. I assume that if the Kings win in the preseason, the Beam is still lit. Do you know? It should be, right?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. Let me text somebody. I'll get on that.
I would.
I don't know
so.
if I want it lit,
okay,
though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
understand.
I don't know.
I'm okay with it, but I know some people say it's not worthy.
Yeah, right. It's preseason. You know, it's I don't know. It's, Fox and those guys aren't playing big minutes. I don't know. It's LeBron's not playing. It's just, I don't know. That's kind of cheesy. I don't know. Let me find out, though. I'll have an answer for you here soon.
We could take a poll, but Simone's working on a poll about who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And I just want you to know, because I want to brace you for it, because I don't think you're going to like the way it goes, but we'll see.
No, the thing about King, fans out there, NFL fans and Niners fans, they're objective. They're unbiased. And so I hope they would, be really unbiased about this when they look at our poll. Simone just put it up right there. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, Sactown Sports 1140. But I think they'll answer honestly. That's what I'm expecting from our Niners fans out there.
Yeah. So which quarterback's playing the best in the NFL right now? Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, or
we had to put who's playing the best right now.
I didn't write
that.
The
was
poll.
not our discussion, Simone.
Our
discussion was who's the best quarterback.
Jay told me that's the producer's call right there.
They don't want his boy to finish last. That's why. They don't want his boy to finish dead last.
When I saw that, I thought, oh, Jay had a hand in that. Okay, good for you.
You see how they phrased that? Oh man,
played.
This is slanted. We grade this one with a curve here. All right,
we also have some questions here on the chat. Perhaps you can help us with this, Kyle.
Yeah, I
being
got
a TV guy. Some people are concerned that the game on NBA TV will be blacked out tonight, but since there is no local telecast, I don't think so.
I'm worried it'll be blacked out also.
Okay.
And you and I have talked about this. Remember last season we've seen Lakers and Clippers games blacked out here
I did have
for
that
some
happen,
reason,
yeah.
and so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I'm hoping to watch it somewhere. I just sent out a tweet. I was like, where are we watching the game at tonight? Because I'm not going to watch it from home. I'm looking to go out to a sports bar. I don't know a good sports bar in Sacramento. I came here when the pandemic was going on and everything, so I really didn't get out in those streets, Whitey. But I want to watch the game out there with some Sacramento Kings fans. And so I don't know any sports bars or anything like that.
We can help you with that too. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's need to get a deal with a sports bar. That's what I need. We can start broadcasting the show from there.
That's right.
That'd be sweet.
That's right. We're available. Dylan Brooks.
My guy.
Friend of yours?
My guy.
This actually happened yesterday, and Kyle brought it up yesterday, and we didn't get to it during the show, but it's something we definitely need to address. As you may have seen, Dylan Brooks last night playing his first game with the Rockets. First preseason game. And less than 5 minutes into the game, he received a flagrant 2 for going right to the no-no zone of Daniel Tice. And then he was ejected from the game. Oh, come on. It's first preseason game.
I've watched the tape a million times. I've watched it over. I don't know if he actually gave like a shot to it. Did he hit him there? Yes. But I don't think it was intentional. He couldn't have been that pissed off 5 minutes into the game. Usually it takes a while to get that worked up, right? The guy's hitting you with screens all night, illegal picks or something like that, elbowing you in a way you don't like or something. Then maybe you retaliate and do it. But I don't think that's part of his repertoire on opening tip. I'm going to go hit somebody in the man region. But it's Dylan Brooks.
Right.
It's Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks is moving left to right with Tice setting a screen to his right. Dylan Brooks sees the screen is there, turns his shoulder to go under the screen, right?
Yeah.
And as he goes, turns his shoulder so he can go past and under Tice, his left hand somehow comes out and strikes Tice right there in the ball rack.
Yeah.
Now,
what happened to cups? Remember back in the day, they used to wear protective cups. Nobody wears that anywhere, right? What happened to those?
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought Tice sold that a little bit, embellished a little bit, got away with it, but that's Dylan Brooks. Like, that's par for the course,
How does
right?
your hand go there, though?
I mean, I'm not going to make excuses for Dylan Brooks. You're not going to paint me into that corner. I'm just saying.
It sounded like you kind of wanted to, though.
Because
you were trying.
I actually think Dylan Brooks is a better basketball player than people actually give him credit for. They think of all the dirty stuff, the trash talk and everything. I think that overshadows his value to a team and how good he can be. And so I just, so that's why I'm sticking up for him to an extent, because Dylan Brooks is a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, he said, I might have tapped him below the waist, but he got right back up. He said, I tried to navigate a screen. What's my name? What's my name? My name is Dylan the Villain. So, yeah, he says, I guess I am being targeted. I think maybe that's that's the way he goes under a screen, right? I'll give you a little something, something. So next time you remember that before you set the screen. He doesn't even know he's doing it.
Right. But what I'm afraid, for Dylan Brooks is he's starting to live up to his reputation, if you will. He's starting to become this caricature, this villain, Dylan the Villain. Like, he's playing it up himself instead of just playing basketball. He's always played with an edge, but it seems like he's crossed the line, jumped the shark, if you will, on
A little
it.
bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And so, and that's why Memphis was A-okay with letting him go. I mean, if you were to ask Memphis a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, like he was a cornerstone piece. It was him and John Morant in that backcourt. Desmond Bane hadn't really came on as of yet. And then somehow along the way, he's become this villain now. And, instead of letting his play do the talking, he's talking with his mouth and talking with cheap shots.
What he said made me laugh, and maybe I should be more sympathetic. Mitch Irvin is the name of the official who called the flagrant 2. Flagrant 2, as you know, you're gone. And Brooks said afterwards, that's really going at who I am as a person. That ref, Mitch, it just shows that he just doesn't know who I am as a person. He actually said that. He doesn't know who I am as a person.
Yeah, Dylan. I think we do know. That's the problem.
It's the preseason.
Right, it's the preseason. Your first game in a new uniform at that. This is your Rockets debut. And I understand playing with an edge, but that was a dirty shot, man. You can't do that.
I don't know the answer. You shouldn't ask questions on the radio that you don't know the answers to. Like I said, it's like doing that in court. But do those points count towards his season total?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I
don't want to
hope not. For his sake.
I wouldn't think so.
I hope not.
I think it probably resets once the regular season begins. I mean, can you imagine?
This is a playoff game because of what he did with Daniel Tice. in 5 minutes into the first preseason game. Hey, who do you think belongs on the list of Kings fans villains? Players in the NBA that Kings fans look at it, boo! He's the enemy. He's a bad guy. Draymond's number one.
Draymond's number one for the stomp against Sabonis. I would say Valanciunas also. You remember a couple years ago, Valanciunas who broke, what was it, Chimezie Metu's wrist or hand or something like that. The end says Robert Horry. So, of course, Robert Horry,
forever
in perpetuity, right? Forever. Right now, like for me, as a Kings guy, like Steph Curry's on that list for me.
I think so.
Like, I'm sorry, the dude come into my building, drop 50 points, eliminate us. He should get the boo treatment big time. Who else out there?
How about, does LeBron belong on it? And I know he's not he's never really done anything, but he's the face of one of our
and he's on the Lakers. I would throw
franchises.
LeBron on that as well. LeBron is one of those like love-hate guys. People either love him or hate him. And so I would throw LeBron on there.
Yes. Draymond, Valanciunas, Robert Horry, Steph, and LeBron. What a list. I think that's pretty accurate, though.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah.
Dylan Brooks.
Buddy Hield's probably on that list right now.
I think
Buddy
right.
Hield might be on that list right now.
What happened there? I know the vitriol towards Buddy Hield just because he made it clear he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, and then during, shoot around one day with the Pacers, a player was being interviewed, and in the background, Buddy Hield, said F Sacramento.
Oh, yeah.
And so fans, saw that. It was like his name was mud around this town. I told you I saw him at Disneyland earlier this summer, and I posted a picture of me and Buddy, and fans were like, Draper, what are you doing? We hate that guy. So Buddy Hield's on that list right now.
I got another name for you, and it's a bit of a throwback as well.
Yeah.
Spencer Hawes.
Spencer Hawes, really?
Yes, because Spencer Hawes is from the Seattle
I know.
area.
I was wondering if you're...
Yeah, when I did a morning show here, he was on our show. He was a regular guest on our show, and people were, it's like, what'd they call him and Jason Thompson? They called him Shock and Hawes. They were supposed to be the next
I remember
Vlade and Weber, and of course that didn't quite work out, but people liked him okay, but then when it looked like the Kings were going to move to Seattle, Spencer Hawes was like,
he was all for it. He was like, take me home. Yeah, and Kings was like, dude.
Kings fans are never not going to forgive or forget something like that.
Manny says Brooke Lopez also. Remember Brooke Lopez and Trey Lyles got into it last year?
That's right.
Game at
and
the end of the game.
was really Giannis was the one that kind of
Giannis got instigated
that fuse.
Yeah, exactly. And Brooke took over, and Trey was not having any of that.
Yeah. Well, considering what a great year they had last year, they don't have a ton of guys on that list. It's kind of unfortunate that two of them are actually former Kings, but that's a pretty good list. It's just there's a gap, I think, Kyle, between everybody and number one right now being Draymond Green.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, we won't see Draymond on Sunday. He's hurt. Hopefully, we'll see him in the regular season that first week.
We've got Damien Wilkins, former NBA star, is going to join us at 3:15. And when we come right back, top of the hour, Kings Lakers. Who needs to play well tonight for the Kings? That's next on the Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and Sactownsports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the Drive, guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get back into more Drive, guys.
Only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper has an update for us on the beam and whether it will be lit tonight should the Kings prevail in Anaheim over the Lakers.
Yeah, I just texted a source. Yeah, I went to the top. I texted my guy over there with the Kings. I won't tell you his name. He said, no beam during the preseason, just the regular season. So when we whoop up on the Lakers tonight, don't run outside looking for the beam. It won't be there. We're saving that for the real deal in the regular season.
I find myself mildly disappointed, but overall understanding that that's worth waiting for.
Yeah, you check your SMUD bill or PG&E bill lately, and a beam, it costs a lot, man. You know, those rates are high. You got to save it. No, I mean, you know what? It's the preseason. We're not playing for the
Somebody
preseason.
tell Dylan Brooks that, but I get
it. You know, the preseason is going to be fun. We're going to get the win tonight. It'll be nice. But Kings fans understand it ain't time to party yet.
Right. Just working out the
Kings.
kinks.
We'll play them the 29th, I do believe we see the Lakers at Golden One Center. We'll fire it up then.
So who needs to play well tonight? All things considered, preseason, not even gonna it's not even beamable. This game isn't even beamable tonight, but who needs to play well for the Kings?
You said who needs the operative word, needs.
Yes.
So I'm throwing out Fox, Sabonis. Those guys don't need. I'll give you somebody. I'm going to say Kevin Huerter. He had the shooting wasn't there in the series against Golden State. Didn't feel like he shot the ball well the other night against the Raptors. I would like to see a Kevin Huerter 4 or 5 3-pointer game. See him out there smiling again. And so he doesn't need to play well for a spot or anything like that. But that's a guy, you know what? For himself, he needs a good shooting game. So I would like to see Kevin Huerter play well.
I think Chris Duarte needs to play better.
Yeah.
He should, but obviously that was not the way you want to get off to a start with your new teammate.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see Duarte tonight because Mike Brown alluded to this yesterday that Chris might play with the third unit. And so remember, we saw Chris Duarte in the second quarter with the second unit out there, and then Sasha was with the third unit after the half. And so it might be flipped. We might see an early Sasha sighting, first half sighting, and then a Chris Duarte sighting later. But I agree with you. You know, the thing about Chris Duarte, the spot is there for the taking for him. Like, it's not like, you know what, oh man, there's no room for him. He's just, no. If he plays well, he gets after it defensively, can knock down some shots, he's going to be in the rotation. And so when you say need, he needs to play well. If he wants a spot in the rotation, it's not guaranteed right now, and it's right there for the taking.
And it sounds like Sasha also needs to play better defensively.
Right.
He needs to if he wants to work his way as soon as possible back into the good graces of Mike Brown.
I can give you an early Drapes take. We're going to have that tomorrow. That's my thing. No, please don't do it. Yeah, an ED. Yeah, an EDT. Don't. My mind went there. But, you know, an early Drapes take, and it won't be, Sasha hit 5 3-pointers. I'm not going to mention Sasha's offense. You may do that, Whitey, and that's okay. I'm not going to talk about Sasha's offense tomorrow. I'm looking defensively what he brings tonight. I don't care if he hits 6 threes. It'll be nice. It'll be great. It'll look good, but we know the guy can shoot. So I want to see him defensively.
Yeah, I just want to see him, period. I want to see the game. Sounds like there's some concerns about that all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I was assuming NBA TV were set.
Yeah, it might be blacked out in Sacramento. And so if that's the case, I'm going to have to go on a wild goose chase again to try and find it. Remember, because the Kings.com live didn't work for me. And so I had to go through an alternate stream, if you will. And I got to see the opposing team's broadcasters broadcast at the Raptors. And so I put out a tweet right there, man, because I was looking to go to a sports bar. But if it's blacked out, sports bars might not even be carrying it tonight.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume that we're good with NBA TV because we don't really know for sure of any reason why it wouldn't be, right? I mean, it's not televised.
Because it's not televised locally, right? That's a great question, man. I have no idea, but now there's this belief that, and you know what? Let me text somebody and find out. Let me find out. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Exactly. Yes. So I'll find out for you.
And every time he says he's going to text somebody, you know who it is.
Who? Oh, Vivek. You know, Vivek's he's on vacation somewhere. He'll hit me when he comes back. You know, no.
Here's a guy I'm watching closely in the preseason this might be a little wonky, but what do you think of this? I think it's incredible and fascinating anyway to think that Colby Jones at 6'6" as a rookie has a chance to be the third point guard. Now, I know that whether he is or isn't is probably not going to have any effect on how well this team plays. But to think of this guy, a really good combo guard in college, if they're grooming him to maybe be a big point guard, he's rangy, he can shoot. That really excites me for the future. And it's not easy to do. You haven't played much point guard? All right, we'll teach you how to do it here in the NBA. Also, Jordan Ford's a great story.
Yeah.
But I'm really going to be watching closely, and Colby Jones did a pretty good job against the Raptors.
Yeah, and Colby Jones gives you something that you don't have. Like you said, length. Big point guard.
Yes.
Somebody, De'Aaron Fox is great, obviously. Davion's great. But they're not, as long as Colby. He's listed at what, a 6'6", I think?
Yeah,
6'5",
so he's kind
6'6".
of a project as a point guard for him right now.
Yeah, I think so. But I think he can handle it. I think, when you look at his college numbers, I'm pulling up his college numbers right now. When you look at his college numbers, he had 9 assist games, 8 assist games last season. I mean, when you look at his numbers here, wow. He had multiple 8 assist games. So he sort of played it to an extent in college, but he's not your modern day point guard. He's not shifty with the ball. He's not quick. He's sort of like, an old school, man, who could I compare him to? Maybe an Alvin Robertson or, even not this player, but a Penny Hardaway to it,
yes,
big
I see that.
and,
I understand.
kind of not as shifty, obviously, and not as talented and not Penny, but more of an oversized point guard. And so, I'm excited to see him. We talk so much about that third point guard spot. I don't think that's going to be a difference maker.
No, not this year. Like I said, I just, any impact.
I would not be shocked if Mike Brown runs Malik Monk at that third point guard spot, where it's Monk and Kevin Huerter out on the floor at the same time. Well, who's the point guard when those two guys are on? It'll probably be Malik Monk.
Right.
And so,
he proved that last year.
Right, that he can do that. And we know he can drop dimes. He's a good passer. And so, but, Colby Jones, I think when you look at his, I don't want to say natural position, but best position in the NBA, I think, the 1-2, like the point guard is where he could really make his mark because he's oversized. He's long. If he can knock down some shots, he can handle the ball as well. And so I think, he could be a nice little backup point guard.
To me, the point guard position has really changed. We've seen the game evolve in so many ways. And we talk about how the centers, they kind of went away and now they're back, but they're shooting threes. Of course, you have stretch fours, which you didn't used to have. But the days of the pure point guard, there's still value for somebody who's just basically gets you into your offense, and that's what they do. But the position has changed so much, and so much more is required of players if they want to be really elite point guards now. And you have to be one thing you have to be is more offensive minded.
Yeah, you can't just be one dimensional. You look at the game's best point guards, they score the ball too. Like that point guard position, how much has that changed? Remember, back in our day, it was the center that did. The point guard was just to get you into the offense, rack up assists, not necessarily score 25 points per game. Nowadays, you look around the league, everybody's looking for an explosive point guard, a point guard that can get you buckets. And so things have changed. But Colby would probably be a throwback to, like I said, a guy that can, get you into your offense, play great D, make the right read. Looking at his stats, he averaged 4.4 assists his last year at Xavier. So that's not bad at all, 15 points. And so I think he could be that kind of combo guard.
So 3 guys that need to play better tonight, need to play well.
Yes.
Huerter, right? We agreed. And also Duarte, and then Mr. Vazenko has to play better defensively.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I'm not, he may hit 4 or 5 threes, Kings fans. I know you'll feel great about that. I get it. I understand. But I want to see his impact defensively.
When we come right back, former NBA star Damien Wilkins going to join us with a look at the upcoming season and his role as GM of Overtime Elite. We're right back with that. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m.
on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I have terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Drive Guys. Thanks so much for being with us on the Kings pregame show. As we're getting ready, of course, for the Lakers and the Kings tonight in Anaheim. And I know I mentioned it yesterday, Kyle, and I don't mean to make people cringe, but as somebody who was there when Sacramento was fighting that fight to keep the Kings from going to Anaheim, I feel like it's something worth kind of pounding the chest about.
Oh, yeah, really?
They're in Anaheim, but they're the Sacramento Kings.
Right.
They were going to be the Anaheim Royals.
They were going to change the name oh, man.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Yeah. And that fell through, and then the whole Seattle thing
fell through.
Here we
are. Our Kings are still here. Okay.
Special guest going to join us now. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Damien Wilkins is a 10-year NBA veteran. I think he played for the Sonics against the Kings in the playoffs, and he's the general manager and head of basketball at Overtime Elite. The league is a subject of a Prime series called One Shot Overtime Elite, and an episode of that show will be part of the Oak Park Black Film Festival tonight. Damien Wilkins joins us. Damien, how are you, sir? And who are some of the rookies we're going to see in the NBA this year from Overtime Elite?
Oh, thank you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it. Amin and Asar Thompson, of course, you guys will see them. They were the number 4 and 5 picks in this past draft. Dominic Barlow plays for the Spurs. He's also a guy that came from Overtime Elite. Jay-Zion Gortman will be there. Jalen Martin will be there. All guys from OTE. So we're very excited about what we've done, what we've accomplished, and excited to see these guys and start their careers.
For the people listening who maybe aren't familiar, Overtime Elite, where are you guys based out of? And tell me about the upcoming talent that you have. We know about the rookies, but, who are the next group of big names that we might hear about?
We're based out of Atlanta. We got guys like Bryson Tiller, who is going to be a definite pro. Shoot, I could go. Who else? Daquan Davis. Jaden Wilkins, my son.
Okay.
He's there. Jakai Howard is there. We see a lot of him in the docuseries if you check that out. But yeah, we got Ja Jackson. Jalen Lewis. We have a bunch of guys, man. We reloaded. We really did. Since that original talent, those first and second year guys left, we really went out and reloaded, got younger. So we'll get to see more of these guys. They'll be able to spend more time with us, so we'll get to see the full development. But I'm very excited about our new crop of guys.
Yeah, we're catching up with Damien Wilkins. He used to play in the NBA, of course. He's the GM of Overtime Elite. So in addition to educating fans about Overtime Elite and entertaining us this series, to what extent could this series be kind of a recruiting tool for you guys as well, Damien?
Well, I think what it does, first of all, it's a human docuseries, right? Like, it has human aspect to it. It's not just about high school basketball. It speaks a lot about perseverance, adversities, overcoming challenges, stepping into, our ecosystem and with your own reality, right? And then having to be told what your reality actually really is, because everyone comes in there thinking that they're a first round pick. until they get up against other alphas in the gym, and then they realize that, like, well, man, I got a lot of work to do. And scouts, the NBA scouts and people that are making these decisions, they don't agree with what my reality is. So a lot of it is that, just building these guys up and helping them, from where they are, and making them as uncomfortable as possible so they can grow as quickly as possible. But it's an amazing show. And what we do at Overtime Elite is second to none.
Damien, Kyle Draper here. I'm looking at your playing career. Whitey talked about it, obviously. When you look at today's NBA, what stands out to you versus when you played in the league?
It's faster. That's for sure. I remember my rookie year when I was in Seattle, we played against Sacramento in the playoffs. Like, our first round matchup was Sacramento. And, when I think about it, Jerome James was like that was like his coming out party. Like, Jerome James could never play it. That Jerome James could not play in this league, because it's just so much faster, right? Like, we were coming down and pounding the ball into him. Like, he was having a great series. I think that series got him paid. That's what made New York Knicks. The Knicks gave him that money off of that series. But, like, I think about that now, and I'm like, man, like, we could have never played that way in today's league. So it's a lot faster. I think guys are a lot more talented all around, like top to bottom. You've got guys out there playing more positionless basketball. You didn't see centers bringing the ball up the court either. And I say that, even saying that makes me sound like it was centuries ago that I was in the NBA, but it wasn't. It's just that's how fast the game has changed. But it's a very exciting game nowadays. It's a young man's game. Like, I'm not getting out there messing with those guys.
Damien Wilkins with us. When you, given the way you learned the game, and you're dealing with these Overtime Elite prospects now, are there times when you might see something like a big bring the ball up the floor, and there's part of you that wants to say, hey, you can't do that, but you realize, no, that's part of the game now?
Yeah, I mean, I've witnessed the game change a lot, so it doesn't really bother me. I actually like versatility. So I like versatile guys. So for me, it's like, the one thing I will scream out is, you better not turn it over. Right? Like, if you're gonna do it, it better work. But I don't frown upon it at all. I let, like, for us at OTE, like, we let our guys, let it all hang out. Like, go grow your games as much as possible. And maybe you weren't able to do that at the high schools that you came from, the respective high schools that, prior to coming to OTE. But if you work on it, we let you do it. That's our rule. Like, if you don't work on it, don't do it. It's like the old Patrick Ewing video when he was yelling at the guy in the huddle, like, do you work on that shot?
You're right about that. You're right. Damien, obviously your last name is synonymous with basketball. Your dad, Gerald, played in the league. Your uncle, Dominique, and you talked about your son as well. What has basketball meant to that Wilkins family, man? Tell me some of those stories growing up.
Man, it's been great for our family, man. Basketball is it's for our guys, like, for instance, at OTE, right? Like, they get a part of me, they get the passionate part of me, through that basketball experience that I've had through growing up through it. Like, I don't let these guys take any days off, or any days for granted, rather. And I try to help them understand, like, listen, man, like, it's not promised to you. And they like, well, I'm ranked this, and I was the number one this. I'm like, I was too. Like, just in case you guys forgot or don't know, I was the number one ranked high school player in the country my senior year. I was also a McDonald's All-American, but I didn't get drafted. Like, I had to work my butt off for those 10 years that I got in the NBA. And I always tell them, like, you guys have to continue to show that work ethic. You have to show it every day. It's a dedication and discipline that, you can't waver from. And that's what it's taught me. Like, that's what basketball being in my life has taught me. It's just, if you want it bad enough, you have to show it and prove it to yourself every single day. Like, there's a toll that you have to pay every day. It's only 450 guys in the NBA, and it's millions of people trying to get in that door every day. And I think I understood that at an early age, thanks to my dad and my uncle and their experiences and the things that they taught me. And I just tried to learn as much as I can from them, not only on the court, but off, because I wanted my career to go as long as possible. I wanted to do things when I retired. I wanted to be in the positions that I am in now. And even when I look back on it, honestly, like it's still surreal.
Damien Wilkins, when you played in 10 years in the NBA, it's quite an accomplishment. Who was the toughest guy for you to guard?
Oh my God. Kobe, obviously, rest in peace. He was one of them.
How did you go about, what did you do? How did you even try to slow him down?
Well, I didn't talk trash to him, that's for sure. I used to I almost got in a fight with one of my teammates one time. I'm guarding Kobe in the corner, and he's like, "Lock him up." I'm like, "Bro, like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? Like, don't poke the bear." With Paul Pierce, as slow as he was one of the hardest matchups that I've had. Tracy McGrady, to me, like, I played against him in high school. The first time I played against him, I was like, this guy right here is amazing. So he's given me nightmares since my my junior year in high school. LeBron, a freight train coming at you. I've had some matchups. Manu Ginobili, like,
really,
my rookie year, I got introduced to him after we beat the Kings. I don't mean to keep saying that we beat the Kings. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Kings fans, but after we won that series, our consolation prize was Spurs, and Manu Ginobili was close to prime Manu Ginobili at that time. And I remember Nate McMillan yelling down the bench, "Hey, rookie!" Like, I was like, "Yep." He's like, "You got Manu." I was like, "Damn!" Like, can I warm up first? Can I warm up with Matt Bonner first? So, yeah, those were some great matchups, man. I learned a lot from playing against those guys, man.
Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
game kind of slowed down when you guarding those guys and you're not getting a play run for you.
Right.
It's like, I can't hit back.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Damien Wilkins. He's the GM and head of basketball at Overtime Elite. And as you may know, Overtime Elite is the subject of this Prime series called One Shot Overtime Elite. And an episode of that is going to be shown tonight, part of the Oak Park Black Film Festival. Damien, you're going to be out there, and I guess you're going to talk with Mayor Johnson after the showing, right?
Yeah. I guess I'm answering some questions. I'm interested to know what episode he's actually showing, because I don't know that yet. But it should be fun. I know KJ is a pillar in this city. He's from here and done some great things in the city. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be good.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the success of Overtime Elite. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
And thanks for all the mentions of how you beat the Kings in the playoffs. We appreciate that.
I didn't mention any of that. Sacramento, I didn't say anything about that.
Thank you, Damien. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Yeah, that's Overtime Elite's been very productive in a short amount of time.
Yeah, in a short amount of time. You're right about that. 2 top 5 picks this past year. Unbelievable.
That's great. I always love doing that. Oh, well, one time I had to guard Kobe. Oh, my goodness. We'll take a quick break. When we come back from the GM survey, which NBA change is going to require the biggest adjustment for NBA teams, and which one's going to impact the Kings the most as we roll on here. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast will spotlight plenty of sunshine, but with that sunshine, it will be a bright and breezy day. Those north winds pick up about 10 to 15 this afternoon. Expect daytime highs in the mid-70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now. Ooma. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor. Finally reaching her, I asked, "What do you call that amazing smell?"
It's Gain Flings.
Gain Flings. My love had a name, but more importantly, it had a scent.
Fall in love with Gain Flings. Seriously good scent. Gain Flings with 50% more freshness ingredients versus leading bargain detergent.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the Drive Guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back in to more Drive Guys.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Back to the NBA in just a moment. First, Kyle Draper's so happy because the Phillies in that bandbox of a ballpark they got.
Greatest ballpark in the league.
They jumped on the Braves. What, 6-1? I think it's in the 4th inning.
Yeah, 6-1, chasing them out of there.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. Good luck hanging on to that.
You know, Philly right now is at a point, and you'll understand this. Growing up, Philly didn't win many titles. You had the Sixers. Phillies had 1980, but we had a long drought there for a while. Like it was rough. And so to see the Eagles being competitive, the Phillies making it to the World Series last year, back in the playoffs this year, the Sixers being competitive, like it's okay to hold your head high if you're a Philly fan right now.
Just when did any of those teams actually win anything, though? I'm trying to. Did they actually?
Eagles just won the Super Bowl, 5 years ago?
5 years
yeah, come on now.
All right, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
Philly.
Dude, he don't have to buy a drink ever again in the city of Philadelphia.
Speaking of quarterbacks, question. Simone, the poll that we have going? I'm allowed to vote on that, right?
No, you can't.
I think I'm allowed.
Of course, everyone. We encourage everyone
yes.
to vote in this country.
This is a democracy, so of course I'm allowed to vote on it.
I voted. I did vote also. Oh, okay. I am not going to reveal my ballot, Simone. I won't tell you guys who I voted for in our poll, which QB is playing the best in the NFL right now. But I wasn't the only one who voted for this person based on these numbers. You got Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Brock Purdy.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to see the results right now. I see how many people voted, but can you share with us how it's looking so far?
All right. There's a tie for the bottom, tie for a third place.
Okay.
Allen and Mahomes. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
In second place, my guy, Jalen Hurts, 13%. And Brock Purdy leads the way with 70%. Simone and Jay are back there like this, just voting time and time again. Unbelievable. But
I don't think they have to. That's the thing.
No, there's 23 votes right now, and it's been very balanced, very accurate.
Well, definitely accurate. This is a scientifically conducted poll.
I want the unbiased NFL fans. I'm not even going to just say Niners fans because I'm an unbiased Eagles fan. So I voted. I need unbiased fans to go to our YouTube page, Sactown Sports 1140. Check out the Drive Guys show and vote in this poll right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which QB is playing the best in the NFL right now? Purdy, Hurts, Mahomes, or Allen?
And in all fairness, I don't believe that was the actual verbiage that you signed off on.
Right. I didn't sign on. I don't think anybody's arguing that Brock Purdy's playing the best right now, but I'm surrounded by Niners Nation in here. Bang, bang, Niner gang. They're surrounding me. And so they twisted my words and said, of course, they slanted the poll so Brock Purdy would win. Come on now.
I mean, you could say that. That's one way you could see it.
What if I asked you this? What if I asked you this?
Yes.
If you could pick one quarterback to lead your team in the Super Bowl right now, Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, or Purdy?
You can't.
See,
who's
why
my
would
team?
you
Because it doesn't work that way.
How about the NBA GM survey? If you were starting your franchise with one player, if you were starting your franchise with one quarterback, right now, don't even do that, Whitey. Don't do that.
Good question.
Don't think about that. Don't.
I mean, you got to consider all factors.
Oh my gosh,
you got to have a young guy, not making a lot of money now, so you can build a team around him, and a guy who's playing great. So maybe the guy that's played better in his 10 starts than like anyone ever would be a really good choice. I think that'd be the logical choice. Is that, I don't know, is there anybody that fits that description?
I can't have a
anybody
logical
that fits that description?
Brock Purdy discussion with you guys. I can't have I'm trying to, elevate our sports knowledge here. So, a real debate here. And I'm being hit by Simone in the back, Whitey in the front here. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And
then you got Jay giving you the Dylan
I know,
Brooks too.
I know. Jay giving me the side eye over there. He's like, hey, you're going to keep talking about my Niners. He about to come through and get me. It's all good.
Speaking of the poll, the GM poll, which change, this is a question the GM's answered, which change is going to require the biggest adjustment? And let me explain which changes we're talking about. In-season tournament, rest rules, and we also have, let's see, I think we have the flopping.
Yeah,
new
flopping
rule,
text.
the extra coaches challenge.
65 game award rule, to
Right.
be eligible for postseason awards.
So which of those do you think will be the most difficult for teams to adjust to? Will any of those, in your estimation, affect the Kings more than others? I don't think the Kings have a lot of guys that are going to be flopping. Right? They don't have a lot of floppers.
Right. I don't think a lot of floppers.
They play a lot of games.
They play
already.
a lot of games. In-season tournament affects everybody the same, I think. So it's not like it would affect the Kings any different. I could argue that extra coaches challenge. But that's going to impact everybody. But for Mike Brown to have that in his pocket, that extra coaches challenge, I think that'll be key. Tax apron restrictions, the new CBA, I don't think the Kings will ever be the Warriors, Celtics, where they just spend and spend and spend. Like, I think,
they don't worry about the apron.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The Kings won't have to worry about that. And we don't rest guys, like you said. So player participation policy won't impact it. I think the extra coaches challenge might be something that Mike Brown can use to his advantage. So probably that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can't decide how I feel about that because on the one hand, it's more fair than the old rule. But on the other hand, the old rule I thought was just really stupid. So
about
you get a
the
challenge,
coach's challenge?
one challenge, and good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. And you were right. Like, you won the challenge, but yet, and then it made coaches have to decide, when do I use it? Yeah. Like, do I use it in the first half or do I have to save it late in the game? So this sort of alleviates that a little bit. You win it, you get it back kind of thing. So, I actually like this tweak that they made. I didn't like the way it was, like you just said, because and then some coaches would be okay with using it very early, and then the game would be closed down late, and their fan base would be screaming at them, "Oh, I wish we had a challenge." And so maybe you don't have to worry about that now.
If I was a coach, and it's a little different now, if you win, you get the second one, but I would try to limit my challenges to a play where one of my guys or one of their guys gets a foul and there's points involved. If it's like an and one, because then you got points going on or coming off the board and you got a foul situation, to me, that's the best bargain if you're going to challenge.
So not like out of bounds
impact.
or, extra possession, out of it.
If it's the end of the game and I haven't used it, obviously,
right.
But otherwise, if I can use it on an and one situation, that's going to help us out with the foul situation and also maybe hurt the other team with their points. Those are the situations.
Are you a challenge fan, though? I'm looking at baseball now with challenges also that they can use as well. We take the human element, like think about all the calls in the history of sports that might have been changed if we had challenge, from day one. I don't know if I like it, man.
You know why I hate it?
Tell me why you hate it.
I hate it because it shouldn't be a matter of gamesmanship. If I'm a manager or a coach now, I got to think, do I want to challenge that? Is this a smart thing to do? When getting the calls right, that's just should be assumed. Everybody involved in the game, players, coaches, managers, they should all have an interest in make sure you get the call right. So why should it come down to, well, does he want to take this gamble here? Does he want to roll the dice? That shouldn't be a factor. Get the call right.
Right. But and to follow that up, and I'm going to pile on that, Whitey, I get your point. But also, these challenges are coming down to super slow-mo replay. And so I get your point, get the call right, but in real-time live action is hard. There was a playoff game, I think it was last year or maybe even the year before. I think it was Warriors-Celtics maybe in the finals where an out-of-bounds, it was called out-of-bounds one way. It said it tipped the player's hand and went out of bounds. Well, they went to replay, and they slowed it down super slow-mo, and on second look, it went off the other guys. Now, that happens time and time again. Like, you think, it goes off the one guy's hand, but when you slow it down, it might hit a guy's fingernail or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't like that call. I'm like, we could, really nitpick a lot of calls, and I'm speaking about the NBA, a lot of calls could go either way.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Casey. You're on with the Drive Guys. What's up, Casey? Thanks for checking in.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
So I have an idea regarding the rest rule in the NBA. Didn't they, you might remember this, Whitey, did they used to have an injured list in the NBA where you had to be out for 15 days back in like the 90s? Was that a thing they used to have?
Thank you for the call. I don't know. That's like in baseball, you have, 10-day or a 15-day.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
I don't remember that.
I don't recall that. I'll have to check on that, Casey, but I don't think they did. And they for years, and this really won't change much, will it, Kyle? You still have guys that are like, what's wrong? He's out with a sore foot. And if you talk to him, he's like, I'm fine. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of times it's the teams.
Yeah.
That,
remember Bill Winnington?
Yeah. I remember
when he was
Big
here
Bill.
once,
yeah.
And he was on the injured list with a bad back. And I saw him, hey, how you doing? He goes, I'm good.
But think about it. That's one thing you can always use, like bad back, stiff back, sore back.
And in a way, it's always true.
Right. It's always true. How do you test that? Like, how do you prove whether that's true or not or false or not? And so if Kawhi Leonard wants to rest, all you have to say is knee soreness.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. What are we going to argue then?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, right.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the ESPN top 100 players. Got some 49ers things to discuss at the top of the hour, too, as we roll on towards the Kings and the Lakers tonight. So Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Players know it's not just because you win more, it's because of everything else at Gold Country Casino Resort, where players roll in and winners are made. Winning isn't the only thing on the menu, and nightlife, it's more than entertaining. Drinks and dining options are abundant and guaranteed to satisfy your innermost desires. Come be our guests and see why Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville is where the players play.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle, and right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus $6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due at signing plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper's pretty happy, as we said earlier, because his Phillies are winning 6-1. The problem, Kyle, is, for me as a baseball fan, we've had so many games in this postseason that are just so one-sided. A lot of really one-sided, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
about
I was going to say,
that,
what can you do? And you've had teams that had great regular season, 162 games. They were great. Looking at you, Baltimore Orioles, and you get bounced the way you just did.
Right.
And it makes the regular season a little less important.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like, you know what? And we saw it with the Giants a few years ago. You win
162 game waste of time.
Exactly. And so, you asked a question the other day. with the WNBA finals, how would they rate against a baseball game? And they're going against the Dodgers tonight. If it's a blowout in baseball, I could see people turning away. I could see people looking for other things to watch. Hopefully here in Sacramento, it'll be on NBA TV. We'll be able to watch our Kings. But these baseball games, usually in the playoffs with baseball, you get some memorable moments, like high leverage moments. We had it in game 2, obviously, with the Phillies and Astros.
What was that again? I forget.
I forgot. We're on to game 3.
All right.
As Bill Belichick said, I'm on to Cincinnati. We've moved on from that. That's in the rear view mirror.
Oh yeah,
that play. Something we have never seen before in the history of baseball playoffs. But yeah, usually it's October. We
had sweeps in the first round and
blowouts, and I forget what the stat was. The 3 winningest teams during the regular season, those first 3 games, 2 or 3 games, they were being outscored like on average 5-1 or something. Like it wasn't even close.
No.
And so I'm not saying it has a problem or anything like that. It's just been kind of a dud, I think, so
it's
far.
It's hard to hang on to viewers.
Yeah.
When that's what's going on. And if the Dodgers are out, if they lose tonight or they are bounced early, that's bad for baseball. I'm not a Dodger fan. There's, for a lot of us, especially Giants fans, it's like, the Dodgers are out. But for baseball, if the Dodgers are bounced early, that's bad.
Yeah, I think so. Because the Dodgers are one of those teams, those franchises, they've reached a point where you either love them or you hate them. You know what I mean? Like,
they're polarizing, so you're interested
so you're interested
in
one way or the other. And no offense to the Diamondbacks, but
not as polarizing.
Right,
You're like, who?
Yeah, nobody cares about the. I'm sorry, Arizona, but yeah, nobody's tuning in to watch the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I have a friend who actually is a fan of the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We just got to be the only.
Why?
Because
did he grow up in a place that didn't have a team or something? Or?
Well, when he was a kid, I guess those were new teams. They both came into existence about the same time. Grant Yamasaki, who was a really good high school basketball player right here, and he said he just decided those are going to be my teams, and so they've been ever since.
Wow,
it's weird, the stories of why people become
fans. Right.
A lot of times, it's like, well, I grew up there, or my dad was, but some of the stories are kind of strange.
That is strange.
Yeah,
he readily admits that, though. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm a Jaguars fan.
I know a guy who he was a fan of the Steelers, and on Fridays at work, he would wear Steelers gear, so he was, no question.
Yeah.
Real fan. So I asked him one time, why are you such a big Steelers fan? He said, well, my brother was a Cowboy fan. So I didn't get along with my brother.
Right, that's
and they were always playing
that's
the Steelers.
Awesome.
So to this day, he was just black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. We've been talking about this poll, the ESPN Top 100 NBA Players poll, and we found out today that it looks like there's only going to be 3 Kings in there. But I'm trying to look at it the other way, Kyle, because we've been looking at it from the negative standpoint. De'Aaron Fox is 23rd, and Sabonis is 22nd. Nobody's higher than that, only 3 Kings in the top 100. But you know what? There's a lot of really good players who rank behind those 2 in these lists.
Yeah, you're right about that. And when I look at this list, for Fox and Sabonis to be ranked ahead of Kawhi, like that's shocking to me, because a lot of people, think Kawhi is, we saw in the NBA GM survey, still one of the best defenders, a great player. But for De'Aaron Fox to be, 1 spot ahead of him, ahead of Pascal Siakam, also Drew Holiday. I mean, and so as a Kings guy, I look for slights, I look for disrespect. But our 2 guys, we got 2 of the top 24 players, 23 players. Kyrie, ahead of Kyrie, you brought up as well. Trae Young, Ja Morant. Yeah, we talked about Ja Morant as well. Ja Morant fell back to 35. And so, one thing that this poll or whatever, rankings taught me is our guys are trending upwards. We got guys who are moving up the ladder, where, a lot of these teams, you look at the Warriors with CP3 falling off a cliff, Ja Morant falling back. Is Kawhi Leonard really going to move up anymore? Like, I could argue his best days are behind him. Same thing with Paul George. Paul George, still a top 20 player, according to this ESPN poll. But I think the Kings, with De'Aaron Fox, 26, Sabonis, 26, like, these guys are in the prime for the next 5 years. And so our guys are trending in the right direction right now.
Don't you think that was the thinking behind the extension for Sabonis now? Get it done, and you know that you have him for the foreseeable. And if you have him, you have part of the foundation of a team that should be competitive for years to come.
Yeah, I think so. And everybody's on the same timeline too, contract-wise. And I think that was important to Monte McNair. Like, you have your core locked up, and people are saying, well, why did you have to do Sabonis now? Why not? Lock the guy up. Don't have this hanging over him during the season. He's locked up. He's happy. His family's happy. They know they're going to be here for De'Aaron Fox. You know, you got your running mate with you. Like, signing Sabonis early sends all the right signals if I'm Sacramento, to my players.
Yeah, and the Warriors are hanging on, and they've got great players, and they've won multiple championships, but they were trying to have the two timeline thing going where they were competing for championships with their veterans at the same time developing the youngsters, and it didn't work, and they finally decided, well, never mind. So Wiseman was gone, Poole's gone, and now they're just trying to milk this veteran group
run
for all they can. And it makes sense, but obviously, that expired by date is approaching.
Yeah, and I said, on the radio earlier this year, I said, the Warriors will rue the day that they missed out and didn't develop, Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman, because it's not like these guys don't have talent. As my Philadelphia Phillies go up 7-1 off after my guy Bryce Harper does what he does.
In that bandbox.
Does what he does. Hits the big fly out there, so the Phillies are up 7-1. But the Warriors, Warriors sort of reminded me of, and you'll understand this, the Celtics in the early 80s, where they were championship contenders, but yet they still had a high draft pick to go out there and draft Kevin McHale. It's like the rich getting richer, or the Lakers. They're champions, but they go out there and then get James Worthy in the draft. And so that was sort of what the Warriors' thinking was. You draft these guys, you're still competitive, and now these guys, extend your window a little longer. And they whiffed on. They went
upside instead of more solid picks.
Exactly. And when they were winning championships, I understand they won it 2 seasons ago, but during their heyday when they won 3 out of 4, they had solid veterans coming off the bench. They don't have that now.
Yeah,
they may have our guy Rudy Gay who may latch on with them, but it's just not the same now.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, how the 49ers, how they shut down Dallas, and how one 49er was rewarded for that. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf at Hagen Oaks Golf Complex, says pace of play registers as very important to most golfers, so he offers a few tips to help. When you're in a cart, drop your partner at his ball and drive to your ball. While your partner is hitting a shot, you can be getting ready for your shot, and your partner can meet you at the cart. Move to the next shot before putting your club back in the bag. That way, you're putting one back and taking a new one, all in the same motion and time frame. Now line up your putt while others are already putting, so you're ready when it's your turn. And you probably don't need to mark 2-foot putts, unless, of course, it's a tournament or a big money match. Save writing your scores until you reach the next tee. And it's not enough to be ahead of the group behind. Stay up with the group in front. It's a game. Have fun. And let everyone else have fun as well with a great pace of play. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the Drive Guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back to more Drive Guys.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
What do you think happened to Simone there? Is she okay? Sound like maybe she pulled something? Or...
It's a hammy. It's a hammy. Let's get you back to more Drive Guys.
Everybody okay? All right. Yeah, you know what's funny here? Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, thanks for being with us. It's funny because you always assume that I'm such a big 49er fan. As we talk about Brock Purdy.
Why wouldn't I?
I mean, I like the 49ers okay. I'm a Bengals fan. That's the thing.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You must have some article hyping up the Bengals or something like that.
I'm just
like you're a Bears fan.
Yeah, well, I do. Yeah, I'm a Bears fan too. But you accuse me of being so, just so one-sided with the 49ers. Yeah. So biased. And I'm just like, that's not even my squad, right? I'm a Bengals fan. So you got to keep that.
So you're unbiased. Okay.
Yeah, unbiased. Just,
pegged you wrong. That's my fault.
Observer. By the way, and I know you've been saying this. We talked about this during the crossover earlier today. The 49ers have gotten some breaks this year, and that happens to a lot of teams that are having great years. But it looks like they may catch a big one. It looks like if Deshaun Watson doesn't play this week and he's still got problems with his throwing shoulder, PJ Walker would be the quarterback for the Browns. Last I checked, they'd have to activate him from the practice.
Right. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, started last week, and I pulled up, PJ's numbers. PJ Walker, 28-year-old, played his college ball at Temple, Go Temple Owls, Philadelphia. I attended Temple as well back in the day. But
you went to Temple?
Yeah.
Alan Stiles went to Temple.
Really?
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to chop it up with him about that then. Yes.
He played baseball there.
I was there back in the day when John Chaney and the boys were running things back then. Oh, yeah, the heyday of Temple. But I'm looking at PJ's numbers, and the Niners just, maybe it's their season. Maybe just the ball is going to bounce their way. Things are going to go their way. PJ, when I look at his numbers, PJ Walker, career, 15 games played, 7 started. 5 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
With Carolina?
With Carolina. 3 seasons with Carolina.
Then he went to the XFL, didn't he?
Yes, exactly. Started 7 games. His completion percentage for his career is 57.4. No Deshaun Watson. No Nick Chubb. Come on, man. Come on. Like, the Niners could score 6 points and win this game 6-0. Like, this Browns offense is terrible right now.
It's not good. Not good at all.
It is terrible.
It's too bad because their defense is really strong. I picked them before the season started to be a playoff team, and we'll see. They're 2-2, right? Because they had a bye.
2-2. Yep.
But the Chubb injury hurts, and Watson, I didn't know what to make of him before he got hurt. So it does look like the 49ers could be catching a huge break. Nothing against PJ Walker, right? I have great respect for anybody who's a professional and you're on the taxi squad or whatever, and they practice squad. You get the call, you got to be ready to go. It's a great story, but if you're the 49ers, you got to like your chances if it's PJ Walker, not Deshaun Watson.
And I can't even say, this might be a trap game. We can't even what ways can the Niners lose this game? I just don't see it. You look at the numbers, you look at the rosters. Listen to this right here, Whitey. This Browns offense, I told you how anemic it was. It's 23rd in the NFL in points per game at 19. But they are
it's trending downwards.
It's trending downwards. Exactly. They're 30th in the NFL in passing yards. And so they can't beat the Niners' one weakness, if they had one before this Dallas game, was their pass defense, didn't rate as well. That's changed, obviously. They played extremely well against Dak Prescott in Dallas. And you look at the ground game of the Browns, you would think, man, that would be their best chance. But with no Nick Chubb out there, they got to go with Jerome Ford at running back, who's averaging 3.9 yards a carry. So it's not like, you're looking at him as a guy that can be a game changer. And so, like I said, the Niners could have their worst offensive, they could score 10 points, and I would still be confident they can win this game.
Fred Warner was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week for his trifecta, they're calling it, against the Cowboys. What Fred Warner did was he forced a fumble, he had an interception, and he had a sack in Week 5, and he was the team's leading tackler with 8 tackles. So he's the first 49er player to come up with one or more sacks, one or more forced fumbles, and one or more interceptions in a game since Navarro Bowman did it in 2013. It really speaks to how dominant the 49er defense was and what they did. Dak has taken so much heat, understandably, but it appears that Dallas went into that game thinking, because of what they've seen the 49ers play this year, they thought, we're going to see some soft zones. That's what they play.
Right.
And the 49ers played man-to-man press.
Yeah.
And Dallas had no answer for that.
And that goes back to coaching, too.
Yes.
That you talked about before the game last week. And so, when you think the Niners are going to zig, they zag. The thing about this defense is it's so versatile. They don't have any holes, I don't think, defensively. And when you look at it, we were sort of waiting for that dominant defensive game, and we got that. And if they're the top defense in the NFL right now, next to Cleveland, they're the top 2 defenses we're going to see this week. And
wasn't Dallas the top defense?
Yeah, they were until they got 42 hung up on them. But when you look at actually the Niners are the top defense. Cleveland's number 2 in terms of points. The Browns defense gives up the fewest yards, though. And the thing that this Browns defense does, they give up fewer yards by a lot. They give up less than 200 yards a game. And I understand they haven't faced a whole lot of competition. They haven't, played great, but they give up 196.8 yards per game. The Niners are third at 266.8. So you're talking about a 70 difference in terms of yards per game. And so That's the only chance I think the Browns have. They got to turn the Niners over. They got to hold them, to 3 and outs. But they got to do that, and we haven't seen anybody all season long do that to San Francisco.
You touched on the one thing that, to me, makes the 49ers legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Legitimate. And the one thing I'll agree with you on with the 49ers is fans do get a little carried away, but that's what fans are going to do.
Yeah.
You win 5 games. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? They could, but it depends on how they play against a team like Philly, and we have no idea how that's going to go. But, yeah, everything looks great. So if you're a fan, enjoy it. But the reason I think there's no question they are a legitimate contender to win it all is because, as you said, defensively, they're versatile, right? We just saw it last week.
Yeah.
Dallas thought they're going to see zone, 49ers, man-to-man press, and they pulled it off. And we know offensively they're very versatile. So on both sides of the football, they're one of the teams. They're not the only team. Your team can do it. Maybe there's a handful of other teams that could do it, but there's a number of ways they can beat you. So you adjust, you slow down one thing they do well. There are other things they can do, and that's why they're so hard to beat now.
And don't let that pass rush get going.
Right.
I don't think we've really seen the best of that pass rush yet. I thought the linebacker play was great.
Randy Gregory, that could be
he
a really
might add
big
something.
acquisition.
Exactly. He could add something to this Niners defense. And I'm looking at the draft line, the betting lines for this week's game. The Niners are only, and I know it's a lot, it's a big number, they're only a 7-point favorite over the Browns.
Yeah, I would think that would be high.
Yeah, I'm like, right, exactly. I'm looking at some of these lines here. The Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites over the Broncos. The Dolphins are 13.5-point favorites over the Panthers. What else? The Eagles are 7 over the Jets. The Rams are 7 over the Cardinals. I would think this matchup between Cleveland and the Niners is like a 13.5 kind of matchup, especially with no Deshaun Watson out there. And that's not me being a homer. Like, that's an objective observer. See, 49ers fans, we can do that. We can actually be that. But looking at it objectively, I don't see how this is a 1-touchdown game.
I'm a little surprised there's a line, because with Deshaun Watson's status, I would think they might even take that off the board. I'm with you. That's a shockingly low number. By the way, you mentioned the Jets and the Eagles. You hear what Robert Saleh says about the tush push.
No, what'd he say?
He says, if the quarterback carries the ball, we got to give him 11 kisses.
Hey, I like it. I like it. And why do people have a problem with the tush push? Let's say if it's a running back, you hand him the ball, he gets to the line of scrimmage, he's trying to go into the end zone. You're allowed to push him. So the quarterback is a runner. Once he tucks it, he turns into a running back. So why is there an issue with pushing?
Just because it doesn't look
good. It just doesn't look good, right? It just.
They're so good at it. It's unstoppable.
I love it. I love it. And why do you think other teams aren't as successful or don't run it as much?
They don't have as good of an offensive line. Who's the guy? The left tackle on the Eagles is just a monster.
Who?
The
6'9" rugby player. Yeah. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of him that
I
they
did.
showed?
I did.
The rugby video.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you bring that?
So there's
guy
one
down?
reason.
right?
Yeah.
Get by it.
But yeah, I was watching the Rams game, like I told you, you're probably watching too. And when they were by the second half, when they were lining up for that, the announcers, I forget who it was, but they were just saying, "There's no way you can stop them. They're going to get this every time."
It's the perfect play. 4th and 2. You're at the 2-yard line. Whatever. If you need 2 yards, turn to that play right there. It's virtually unstoppable. What the Eagles, like 97% conversion rate or something, something crazy.
Jordan Mailata, pardon me.
Yeah, Jordan Mailata. Yeah.
Yeah. But, Robert Saleh can say, we're going to have to give the quarterback 11 kisses. You can't get to the quarterback. It's almost like
He's surrounded
seemingly by like 8 people deep.
You know what it looks like?
Scrum.
It looks like if you were, when football was first invented.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, this is how they used to play 100 years ago or something like that. Sort of like when you watch grainy video of old basketball games. That's how that looks, the tush push. And, it's effective, though. It is effective.
I read a story. I'll find this story for you. Speaking of that, there's a story of a football game, early 1900s, whatever it was. And there was a player, and they'd give him the ball, and his teammates had a handle sewn on his jersey. And they would get it. I'm not making
a
this
legit
up.
play. This is all right.
And they would give him the ball, and they would throw him
No
over.
way.
Yes. his teammates would pick him up by the strap and they would fling him over the line of scrimmage. And they had to outlaw it. But that's tough to
I know. I was about to say, how come nobody's tried that again here in the near future, right? Why not do that?
Yeah, that is.
Who would volunteer for that role, though? Like, you can't be, a fullback or something. You got to be a little scat back. Yeah, exactly.
That would be finable now. And speaking of, it looks like the NFL is considering taking some of George Kittle's money. That is next when we come back. Rise Guys on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. I had a neck pain too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain, and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So, cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Kyle, are you a little disappointed that this game doesn't shape up as a tougher contest for the 49ers? I'd like to see the 49ers win all their games, but I want to see. I'd like to see some. Last week was exciting. Ooh, here we go, and then mismatch.
Yeah, I am a little disappointed. They're going on the road at Cleveland. After week 3, I think it was 2 or 3, I thought, man, this Cleveland team, they're a little better than, their defense is great, and they got a playmaker in Deshaun Watson. But now you lose Chubb, you lose Deshaun. This might be one of those CMC rest of fourth quarter kind of games or something like that. I mean, this could get ugly pretty quickly just because I don't think, the Browns can necessarily move the ball, but look also for a high turnover game from Cleveland. Look for the Niners to get 2 or 3 picks in this game, maybe a fumble or 2, short field. And so it could escalate pretty quickly, I think.
This reminds me of Bill Walsh's 49ers. And I know, that I'm going back a ways, but I remember, Montana and those guys and Ronnie Lott, and they would play and they would just beat the stuffings out of everybody, especially what was that, like 1984 when they ended up playing the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. And every week they were just better than everybody else. And I think that's just where it is right now. This team, the way it's built and the state of the NFL is such that they're going to be vastly better than the vast majority of teams they play week to week. But it is going to come down to what happens against teams like, not that there are a lot of them, but with the Eagles.
There's a handful, I would say, 3 or 4 that could probably give, the Niners a run. I would say the Eagles are in that mix. And then I'd probably have to go to the AFC. I think the Chiefs, you can never count them out. I'll throw the Bills in that mix as well. And maybe that might be it. That, because I don't think the Dolphins, as explosive of an offense that they have, I don't think their defense is that great. I look at, when you look at Cincinnati, they're limping right now. Maybe they've turned the corner.
My squad.
So I'm your team. So in a few weeks when they play the Bengals, I'll remind you of that, and so I think that's going to be a test. But I don't think there's a lot of teams right now that can challenge the Niners.
I was talking to one of our fine account executives here, Ken, who's a huge 49er fan. And he was saying, just from a fan's perspective today, before our show, he was saying, at some point, they're going to be one of those games. They're just going to have one of those close games. And I don't like to say this, but I suggested to him, I don't know, maybe Seattle. I know you say that. And he goes, yeah, but they don't play them for a while. But
right,
I could see, especially up there, maybe that's one of those, like, wow, it's a fourth quarter and they're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. I could, I know you're not a fan of Seattle, but I think division games, late in the season, a lot to play for. Seattle's going to get up for that game, especially the one up there. When you look at, this Niners team, I've been impressed with just their mindset. Historically, over recent years, we've seen them come limping out of the gate. They've come with a business type attitude, an attitude that they're on the mission. And I credit obviously Kyle Shanahan, but give the players some credit. Give the Kittles, even the Bosa's some credit. CMC, Debo as well. Like, these guys came in with the mindset of, you know what? We let one go in the NFC Championship game. We feel like if we would have been healthy, we were the best team. And they've been on a mission to prove that so far this season.
Remember, right before the season started, it appeared that the 49ers had so many issues. They had Bosa. When are they going to sign Bosa? What are they going to do? They had a kicker.
Right?
They got rid of Robbie Gould, who never misses, for this guy Moody, who can't make a kick. They had that. They had all the quarterback drama. Brock Purdy, is he okay? All right, it looks like he's okay, but who's the backup? Oh, boy, what's going on with Trey Lance and Sam Darnold? And somehow, someway, here they are. And those are just distant memories.
Those are blips on the radar when you think about it. And you look at Moody, he hasn't been asked to, really stretch his leg out, Against Dallas, he gets extra points all day, and so kudos to the kid. Like, you work him in slowly, he hasn't been in a high leverage, high pressure situation. And so by the time he does get to that point, he's a veteran at that point. You're talking week 12, week 13. I keep bringing it up. I know it's against Philly, but not only that matchup in that environment, that's a Sunday night football game. The city of Philadelphia will be, lit. It was a house of horrors for the Niners in the NFC Championship game. And so it'll be critical, for Moody, for Brock Purdy, those guys to be able to perform in that kind of environment.
The story today, big 49ers story today, that is, word that the league apparently, according to Adam Schefter, according to sources, the NFL is considering a fine for George Kittle because of the T-shirt he wore against the Cowboys that said "Bleep Dallas." He would be fined $10,927, according to the NFL's fine schedule. It's not clear why they are considering that and why they're not just doing it or not. What if they asked you, Kyle Draper, what should we do here? What do you fine him or
slap
not?
him with the fine and keep moving on.
Right.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's, I know the Cowboys, are a little frustrated by it, upset about it. They're in a tizzy about it. But you know what? Shut them up. Win the game. I'm sure George Kittle wouldn't take off his jersey and show that if the Cowboys had won. And so I think it's gamesmanship. I think it's trash talking. I think it's trolling. I have zero problem with it. The only problem I do have, I guess, Whitey, is, and this is why the NFL has this rule, and this is why the NFL has to fine him, you can't be having this every week. If Kittle can do it, why can't so-and-so? And then everybody will be, wearing some sort of shirt, delivering some sort of message. But this one-off, hit him with the fine, and let's keep on moving.
Can you even say this anymore? I'm going to say it. It concerns me a little bit. There are some people watching that game, and I get it. It's a competitive game, and I understand where he's coming from. There are kids watching. I mean, shouldn't that matter on some level? Or am I just
it
like...
It should.
Okay.
No, we're you know what? We're old-fashioned. I don't like cursing in front of my kids. I don't like listening to music with curse words in front of my kids. What's interesting is I don't know if you turn on the radio, FM radio right now, some of the lyrics in these songs, it's like, oh my God, what happened to decency? What happened to, and I know these kids are hearing it on their own with their friends and everything like that, but they don't have to hear it from me. So same thing with George Kittle. Like if I got an 8-year-old watching that,
for it.
That's right. Yeah. That's, it's like, and it's like going to a game also, some of the language you hear in some of these stands, like, I remember when I was in Boston and me and my son, we left the game. I think it was a Bruins game. We were walking back to the car, and the number of F words, he was probably 7 at the time, the number of F words he heard. So you can't shield him from it. It's part of society. I do wish that, oh man, there's kids in the room maybe we shouldn't talk like this. I do wish we got back to that a little bit.
My wife and I, Shinya, we were at a place, like a sandwich place around here. This is a couple of years ago. And we're like the only two in there. And then there's this older couple that comes in, older couple comes in, and they were playing some kind of contemporary music, and there was language, and they had it up really loud for some reason. And there was language like, wow. And so the woman went up, this older woman goes up and just politely, as far as I could tell, she asked, could you just turn that off? And the guy says, we don't control the music. There's nothing I can do. And I just thought, man, that's the wrong move, right? Just whatever it is, turn it off, right? And no matter how you feel about it, if a customer, and she was nice about it. There's an old couple, and they didn't like hearing that when they're eating. And I think there also might have been some kids in there. And the guy behind the counter was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. I thought, man,
you're touching a nerve with me right now. This is something that really bothers me about, raising kids today. You can do your best inside your home, but when they leave, they're hearing all kinds of things. They're seeing all kinds of things. And what happened to respecting your elders,
That's it. That's all it is.
What happened to carrying an old lady's groceries to her car for her and everything like that? We don't see that. And I know I sound old and ancient and everything like that, but that's respectful. It's funny. I had to get on my son's case a couple of weeks ago. We're about to walk into a store, and he goes in first. And I'm like, hold up, broski. Hold the door open for me, your mom, your sister, the lady, it's like you got to teach them, what it means to be a gentleman, what it means to be respectful out there. And I do feel like we lose it. I'm looking at the YouTube chat. Hold on. Cousin Pete, I cuss in front of my kids, but I teach them and raise them to know that's not okay until they're adults.
Whatever, however you want to raise your kids, that's fine. By all means, I'm sure you're doing a great
job. He says, exactly, Drapes. The way my kids acted at home is not how they act in front of other people. It's parenting. So yeah.
But to me, in a public setting, and there's foul language, and a woman very politely, an older woman asks, "Can you turn that down?" And then say, "No, there's nothing we can do." That's a swing and a miss.
And here's my problem. I love rap music. I love hip hop, and I'm trying to listen to some of my old school stuff, and I'm like, I need to find the clean versions because there's a lot of things I can't play. I can't play Too Short with my kids in the car. I can't play 2 Live Crew with my kids in the car.
Right? There'll be a time when you can't.
Yeah, I don't know. They're 14 and 11. I still feel uncomfortable. And I got my son the other day. He was like, "Dad, you should play this song." He said, "But there's only the expletive version out there." And I'm like, well, how do you know about it then, Nick? How would you find that? He got quiet all of a sudden. So that's good stuff.
But at least he came to you with that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did. Exactly.
This is a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We'll take a quick time out here. When we come back, we may have to tap into your Boston expertise, Kyle Draper, because everybody believes Bill Belichick is unfireable, except the guy who could fire him. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear through the night tonight. It'll be cool tomorrow morning with temperatures in the low 50s. Tomorrow will be a sunny day with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouth-watering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the drive, guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get you back in to the drive, guys.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper has an update on the Kings lineup tonight. Before we get to that, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you want to weigh in today, all callers come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. So who's not playing tonight?
Big game, obviously, for the Kings tonight against Lakers. We were talking about things we like to see, players we're keeping our eye on. One guy we won't be able to watch tonight is Keegan Murray. Keegan has been a late scratch in this game. The Kings tweeted it out just a few minutes ago. They say he's dealing with right thumb soreness, I do believe it is. So no Keegan Murray tonight, right thumb soreness. He is out against the Lakers.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but did he have, was that the thumb that he had injured?
I
don't know.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
But he did have something similar to Sabonis last year, didn't he? And it was just not mentioned.
And he played through it as well. And if you remember, late November, December, he's wearing like a little splint or something on it. Nobody really talked about it or anything. Like, it wasn't publicized much, but he played with it, pretty much the entire season.
I was filling in on the afternoon show here, and this was probably February or so, and we were talking to Jordy Fernandez. And he mentioned something because I asked something about Sabonis and the thumb, and he said something about Keegan and his thumb, and we're like, "What does he?" And Jordy's like, "Oh yeah, it's nothing." So he didn't mean to divulge that, but it never really came out till after the season that Keegan was dealing with something.
Yeah,
similar.
He was dealing with it also. Yes. And so I'm not sure if it's the same thumb, but he is out tonight, right thumb soreness.
All right.
Yeah.
And no LeBron tonight. And if the Kings win, there will be no lighting of the beam, which, like I said, initially a little disappointed, but I'm totally on board with it because let's wait till it matters and counts.
Right, exactly. Wait till we beat Utah in game 1, Golden State, the Lakers, then we can light the beam.
Can I ask you real quick here before we get to Belichick, if you're interested in this, for all the talk of Purdy, and I'm not putting you on the spot, the hot spot about Purdy here, but Purdy, a 7th round pick. Did you know that I believe there's 3 quarterbacks who were picked in the 7th round that we've heard of here in fairly recent history that actually made the Pro Bowl? That surprised me.
Made the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, 7th round picks as quarterbacks.
I can't even begin to think who that would be.
I believe it was, and this may be a little before your time, I remember Pat Hayden on the Rams went to USC.
Okay.
Remember Gus Farrat?
Gus Farrat? Oh,
he was
really?
a 7th round pick, and he made a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Matt Castle.
Yeah. He made a Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I think he made 1 Pro Bowl.
That 1 year in New England when he led them to the 11-5 when Tom Brady got hurt.
And then also a 7th round pick who I don't think made a Pro Bowl, but he's Mr. Football, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Get out of here.
7th round picks. I didn't know that.
So it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Brock Purdy's better than any of those guys, isn't he?
I'm not going to say that just yet. I need to see it. You're not getting me there, Whitey. I need to see more from Brock.
Don't forget to check out our poll and cast your vote. Vote early, vote often. Which quarterback is playing the best in the NFL right now? And kudos to whoever decided to phrase it that way. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, of course.
I got the updated numbers if you want those.
Yes.
Josh Allen 5%, Patrick Mahomes 8%, Jalen Hurts 8%, and gosh, wouldn't you know it, Brock Purdy 79%.
Look at that. Okay.
Objective Niners fans weighing in. I appreciate
this
it.
Is a scientific poll. The person who put it together had a clipboard and a lab coat when she put it together. So there you go.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of New England, as we were a moment ago, it's funny because I remember talking with you about this weeks ago, about how, there's some rumblings that maybe if things don't go well for the Patriots, that Belichick could be on the hot seat. And you, with the Boston background, you thought that sounded kind of ridiculous, but here we are. They're off to this terrible 1-4 start, and we continue to hear rumblings out of New England that Robert Kraft is not happy.
So what are you saying? Belichick, here's the thing. And this is my personal opinion. This is my belief. He's on the hot seat. There's no doubt about it. Wow. The natives are restless out there in New England. They're not used to losing. They're not used to being irrelevant. You get blasted by Dallas 38-3, I think it was, and then lose 35-0 to the Saints. Like, that's unacceptable in New England. With that being said, I still cannot see a scenario where Robert Kraft says, Bill, you are fired during the regular season. He'll call him in the office after the season and say, Bill, how do you want to handle this? But I don't think he will publicly make a change. And if he does, they will spin it that Bill Belichick decided to step away.
Here apparently is the story, as far as we know. Belichick, of course, a .465 winning percentage since Brady left there, and that includes a 1-4 start this year. So he's considered an icon within the organization. Of course, he is. He's a pro football icon. Robert Kraft not pleased. And according to a writer with The Athletic named Jeff Howe.
Yeah, my guy. I know Jeff.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Okay.
I trust his word.
Kraft has grown, quote, frustrated, if not downright angry, end quote, with the Patriots' lack of success. Howe also writes that Kraft, quote, Robert Kraft doesn't subscribe, end quote, to the idea that Belichick has earned the right to decide when he will step aside. So the owner is not among those who believes Bill Belichick has earned the right to step aside when he wants to, or at least under the terms that he wants to step away from the game under.
And I agree with that. And that echoes what I'm saying, but I don't think Kraft would make a move in season. I do think Kraft, if this season continues the way it is, Robert Kraft has set a high standard of excellence. And, he, when he took over the Patriots, they were awful. They weren't, a contending team. He helped build them up, hired Bill Belichick, and they've won, 5 Super Bowls together. When you look at it might be even 6, man, I lose track. It's crazy how many Super Bowls they've won.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what Bill Belichick has done, I think it's only the 4th year removed from Tom Brady. It's not like, it's 10 years of terrible play, things like that. But in New England, they demand excellence. And I don't think it has as much to do with the record as it has to do with the personnel decisions that Bill Belichick has made. This, Mac Jones, Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator, Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver, letting him go, who's now putting up numbers with the Raiders. He's having a solid season with the Raiders. And so I think what we've seen is, when you look at Bill Belichick, a great coaching mind, but forced Rob Gronkowski out. Tom Brady decided to leave. Not the X's and O's on field stuff, just maybe the arrogance that it's my way or the highway, and the way he treated the players. And so there's no reason why, and I get it, Tom Brady is sort of like Joe Montana, seeing Joe Montana in the Chiefs jersey. Like, there's no reason we should have saw Tom Brady not retire a Patriot.
Right, because with the 49ers, they had Steve Young. Bill Walsh had the replacement there. But in this case, I'm assuming
they didn't have anybody.
Yeah, Robert Kraft didn't really want to see that happen. So Brady leaves, wins another Super Bowl. The Patriots have not won a postseason game since Brady left.
And it's on Bill Belichick. The heat is up on him. I would be shocked if an in-season move is made. I do know Robert Kraft is a winner. Like, this is the Patriots, the pecking order in Boston.
So you agree with these reports that he is just furious right now?
His team is turning into the laughing stock.
Because, sometimes he seems like kind of a kindly grandfather.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. He is a competitor. He's fiery. And when you look at the division, when would we ever have thought that the Dolphins, even the Jets would be better than the Patriots, the Bills, like the Patriots would be the laughing stock of the division. Never would have thought that. Never would have thought that.
And it happened
quickly. Tom Brady leaves. Pew! They've had a revolver. Remember, they tried Cam Newton at quarterback. Some say you should have kept Jimmy Garoppolo and groomed him to have been the guy. That's neither here nor there. But Bill Belichick's inability, his personnel decisions, really have hurt this team.
Yeah, because it's not as if they tore that team down where they knew that, look, we got to start over. No, Belichick believed that this team could still be competitive, and he's been wrong about that. I would not be surprised. I don't have the Boston background you have, of course, but I would not be surprised if this continues, if he doesn't make it through the rest of the season.
Let me ask you really quickly, Whitey, and this goes to show you Bill Belichick's ineptitude when it comes to personnel decisions. Who's the last number one wide receiver the Patriots have had?
I don't know.
Like real true. I mean, Wes Welker, like
Deion Branch,
right?
Yeah.
Randy Moss, maybe.
Randy Moss is
like
the answer. And
this is 2023 in the NFL when the passing game is more important than ever, and yet they have not addressed the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. That, to me, could be a fireable offense right there.
Yeah, it's possible that the game has passed one of its greatest coaches by.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what many believe in New England is, and that, without Tom Brady, who, didn't have a whole plethora of wide receivers. Tom Brady made his wide receivers look better. You take Brady away, then you realize, man, Brady was a big part of our success.
Coming up, we bounce back over to basketball with a scattering report on the NBA's newest feud. Draper and Gleason, Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
At Harbor Freight, we think you shouldn't have to break the bank to get great tools. Because we know that for some of you, tools are part of the job. And for others, they're just the beginning of making, fixing, restoring, and building. That's why we make high-quality tools that are priced affordably, because we love being the start of all your working, making, fixing, restoring, and building. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
In business, everything your employees do impacts your brand, including what they wear. Cintas has high-performance workplace apparel for almost every job imaginable. From work shirts and pants, to polos and khakis, to Oxfords or T-shirts, these clothes move, breathe, and look great. Your team gets the styles they like, you convey the image you want. And Cintas service includes weekly laundry and delivery. To learn more, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Well, I'm a little uncomfortable with this. Kyle Draper's loving it. We got Braves and Phillies on one of our monitors here. And we got these Sixers at home against the Celtics. So it's Philly. Where's it? You want to get the Flyers game?
Right. I think they might be playing tonight as well. And so I can't help it, man, that the squad is getting national attention. Our baseball team's mollywopping the Braves right now, 8-2. So, it's great, man. I should put my feet up. What we got? 3 more segments? Shoot, I might catch the end of these games.
Yeah. By the way, we got some less than great news on the Kings tonight. Kyle Draper sharing with us that Keegan's not playing tonight. Nothing to be alarmed about.
Nothing to be alarmed about. Sore right thumb. I would imagine, you got a few days off. What's today? Wednesday, your next game. Not until Sunday, that home preseason opener. I fully expect them to play in that game.
Mm-hmm. Interesting comments here on the chat. We appreciate it as always. Cousin Pete weighing in. We were talking earlier about swearing in public and with kids in the equation, how you deal with that. Cousin Pete says, I just don't believe in sheltering kids. My kids are street and book smart, way better kids than I was. Ha ha. To me, the whole thing is as long as your kids understand there's a time and a place for it and understand that, like, grandparents, older people, you just respect them and don't swear around them and just, respect because they've earned that. That's the main thing to me.
Yeah. And, the long-standing joke is that, the kids, when they're outside of the house, when they're around other people or they go to sleepovers, so respectful. They're so, they're so polite. But in the house, my brother and my son and daughter are fighting all the time like cats and dogs. They don't want to clean their room. They're back talking and everything like that. But in public, it's like, oh, yes, Mrs. Washington. Yes, I'd like to have, so polite. And I'm like, where was that at home? But they're more relaxed. They're in their environment. They actually think they have a say in things. And so
but they know they know the difference.
Right. They know the difference.
Yeah. Derek, by the way, weighing in with this. Thank you, Derek. He says, I finally got the approval from my boss to have the YouTube channel up while I was at work. Yeah.
That's how you do it, right? You listen in your car, you listen on the app, or you listen on YouTube at work, and you could have that on in the background, us in the background. That's how you do it, man.
Yeah. And there are numbers, if we can find them, we'll make them up, that show that your productivity increases at work, right?
Did you say if we can't find them, we'll make them up,
we'll
right?
Get some for
we'll
you.
Find
no
some somewhere.
If you need to show your boss, we'll get you some numbers.
Exactly. And so, I was just thinking, how many three? This is our 5th day of the Drive Guys, I believe.
Is
it started Wednesday of last week, right? Wednesday,
that
Thursday,
sounds right.
Friday. No, this is our 6th day. So we're off and running here, man. And this thing's about to get turned up with the NBA season coming up, Niners football. And so I feel like we're just getting started, just hitting the tip of the iceberg of this show.
Yeah, we appreciate you being with us here and your support, and especially the participation means a lot. It's a lot of fun. Makes it more fun for us. Speaking of people not getting along, you said your kids are fighting. There's another NBA feud going on here. We started to get to this yesterday, and I never quite did. But one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about it was because I don't understand this. Paul George and Devin Booker now have a feud. And Paul George says line was passed, which I guess means like he crossed the line in regard to feud with Suns Devin Booker. And apparently what happened was Paul George has, his podcast P with Paul George. So he had Clay on. So he asked Clay to talk about when he was trash talking Devin Booker with the 4 rings gesture. Which, by the way, that was a really embarrassing moment for Clay. And even Clay admits, like, I wish I hadn't done that. And Devin Booker was destroying Clay that night. So it wasn't like, oh, what a night for Clay. But anyway, Clay talked about it on the podcast with Podcast B. And then Devin Booker gets in touch with Paul George and says, did you get the answer that you wanted? And somehow from that, now it's on between the two of them. And I don't get it.
Is this the feud that we never knew we needed? Like, where is this coming from? By all accounts, both guys are nice dudes, and the fact that Klay Thompson was even embarrassed about that moment, it shouldn't be an issue anymore, right? It should be in the past, but clearly Devin Booker's in his feelings about this.
Yeah, because he was on with, was it Sean Rooks?
Taylor Rooks. Yeah,
pardon me.
Sean Rooks, the former basketball, big difference.
I don't know where it took the turn. Things got heated when we played Phoenix. Conversation sparked, and it came from that. And again, this goes down the respect line, George said of Booker. Me and Devin have always been good. He was little bro when he came in the league. And then all of a sudden, temperature changed into where now it's a line that was passed, stepped over the line. It is what it is at this point. What? What is it?
What was the line that was passed, though? Like,
I don't know.
That's the point, right? Like, was it the tweet? Like, did you get the answer? Like, did they have a phone call that we don't know about or something? And, to Paul George's point, like, George sort of took Devin Booker under his wing a little bit when Booker first came into the league. And so these are, by all accounts, two of the nice guys in the NBA, very respectful guys. And now we got this beef. So that makes that Suns-Clippers matchup even a little more spicier. I will say, I am all for NBA beef.
I was going to ask you, are these
NBA
good for the league?
I love NBA beef, especially when you got a long season. Now, all of a sudden, sure, Clippers Suns, that was going to be a big game anyway. But now we're looking to see if Paul George and Devin Booker dap up before the game. Does Paul George give a hard foul? Does Devin Booker give a hard foul? I'm all for the spiciness of it. I'll tell you a quick story. And I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to tell you what we ran with in the media years ago.
And Sean Rooks is not part of
Sean
this.
Rooks, trust me, Sean Rooks, Taylor Rooks, no Rooks were part of this.
I'm the first person who's ever confused those two ever.
We should can somebody put up a side-by-side of Sean Rooks and Taylor Rooks and give Whitey the business? Like, dude, how could you compare those two? Like, how could you mistake those two? But, back in the day, Kevin Garnett, huge trash talker. And him and Carmelo Anthony had a beef, got into it. So much so that after the game, Carmelo went looking for KG in the back. And so even to this day, people are still talking about that beef, that rivalry. And so I'm all for, just a little added spice. I call it seasoning to your regular season games.
I think some of this is Devin Booker, and Devin Booker learned at the school of Kobe that, that these people are your opponents, are your enemies,
right.
And you assert your dominance over them, right?
Yes.
You establish your will, you force your will upon them. That's part of it. But I think what's good for the league, to your point, Kyle, in my opinion, is that so often you're watching sports and it feels like I care about this more than they do. But when you got two guys that have that going on, you know that, okay, there's something on the line here.
Yeah.
It's real.
And that's the thing I do like about Devin Booker. He carries himself a certain way when he steps into onto the floor, walks into the arena.
Yep.
Like he's all business. He's locked in. He's not trying to play kissy face. He's not trying to smile, talk about AAU days. He's there to get buckets and beat you. And so you can see that edge that he plays with. But this happened during the offseason, right? Like this is
I don't even know
this
what
is during the
happened.
down season. Like, why is he so upset?
Yeah. He's not Paul George isn't the first guy that's had a little issue there with the great Devin Booker. I say great because, like I said earlier, when he broke his nose in the finals against the Bucks and they just kept playing
through it.
That's a great player right there.
No, he is. He's a competitor. And, we saw even when Kevin Durant got hurt in this past series. I mean, this dude, Devin Booker, he was going out there trying to put the Suns on his back. And so, no, he's a tremendous talent. He's not a top 10 player, though, according to ESPN, if I'm correct, in the rankings. So, he got a little chip on his shoulder, obviously, going into this season.
Speaking of the rankings, the NBA's top 100, were the Kings properly rated? While Kyle Draper says, no, they weren't. That's next year. We head down the home stretch. We're getting you ready here for Kings and Lakers basketball on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs, but some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Wednesday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. As October surges on, so does the MLB postseason. Last night, the Astros handed the Twins another L and lead that series with a chance to advance tonight.
The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota. The Astros need one more win for their 7th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series.
And Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers sweep the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Hello, ALCS. Starting Sunday as the Rangers stream out of the dugout. 7-1, the final score tonight.
And a slightly condensed show for you today as the Kings are back in action tonight, taking on the Lakers down in Anaheim. Of course, our exclusive game night coverage jumps off at 5:30 right after the drive, guys, with tip-off slated for 7 right here on Sactown Sports. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. We got the last 30 minutes of the drive, guys, coming up right now.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yeah, our Kings coverage tipping off about half an hour here. So before we get back to the Kings and the Lakers, just a quick check of our Sactown Sports YouTube poll. Which QB is playing the best in the NFL right now? Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, or Brock Purdy. You can also vote by phone, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. In fact, let's go to JR. He joins us now on Sactown Sports. Hi, JR. How are you today?
Hello. Simone, when Simone does the updates, it's just so much nicer to listen to.
Aww.
She appreciates that, JR.
Yeah, well, we appreciate her. Yeah, that poll is kind of silly. I mean, it's like one guy and then a bunch of other people. So I don't even know what we're kind of having. I mean, was that Drave's poll to see if Hurts deserves to even be in the top 10? Or
No. First of all, they worded the poll wrongly. Like that wasn't the debate. Here's what the poll says. It says which quarterback is playing the best right now. Our discussion was which quarterback is the best right now. And Whitey came up with these cockamamie stats, some obscure website where he found these stats, these numbers that had Brock Purdy. And I'm like, we wouldn't rather have a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, or even a Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it was the Athletics.
Yeah, it was it was NFL stats right from the league, you mean?
Right,
exactly.
Yeah, right, James. No, you could say present, past, future. I mean, and I think old BC is going to be right there. Bring the smoke. You said, hey, let me win the Dallas game. I'm pretty sure I was turning that TV off second half because I'm like, God, the NFC East is so pathetic.
Is it really? Hold on.
They have the
Who's
worst
this
division
Jim?
in football.
Oh, I see you're trying to get me raw. I see what you're trying to do.
See what I'm doing?
Talk
I'm
to
trying
me.
to do a,
What is it,
Fox
December
versus,
3rd?
For Christie. I'm doing a Fox versus Christie on you in the preseason.
Talk to me December 3rd. I got it circled. I'm going to be ready. My squad will be ready. And here's the thing. Your boy Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Ride with him. Good. Enjoy it while it lasts. I'm saying he's faced a bunch of cupcakes so far this season. The Cowboys aren't a real team. They were exposed.
They were
They're
until
flawed.
they played Brock Purdy.
But they hadn't played anybody. They had not played anybody. They weren't as good, obviously, as we thought they were.
Hey, I'll give a hardball line. He's tougher than a $2 steak, and he'll eat cupcakes and steaks. And he's definitely going to Philly and eating what is Philly sandwiches? What do you guys have out there?
Cheesesteaks. You ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for the cheesesteak.
Yeah, I might even get a chicken fly out there right now, Drapes.
Hey, have you ever heard of something called PTSD? You know what that is?
That's people knock on my door all the time, and there's no one actually out there yet.
Well, that's what the Niners face when they go back to the link on December 3rd. That place is a house of horrors. You got guys complaining about the fans. Yes. Did you see what happened in the NFC Championship game?
They don't cheat and hit Brock late like they did last year in the NFC Championship game. You know,
PTSD, Phillies,
love it. Hey,
Audrey,
I want to see some rivalry with the Kings tonight. I want them fighting.
Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, JR.
And I think was that a vote for Purdy? I think that was a vote.
No, he already voted like 20 times. He's already voted.
Yeah.
That poll is skewed, but I get it. I'll play along.
Scientific poll. I don't mean to pile on you here because I know he came after you a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also know that you were maybe not miffed, but mildly irked at least by this the top 50 here that came out today, ESPN's NBA ranks. Now we don't have the top 10 yet, but we do have two Kings in the top 50. 23 and 22 is Fox and Sabonis. But I know that you were not overly happy with the results here.
No, not at all. Just because I appreciate our guys making big jumps in the poll. I appreciate them being in the top 25. But then when you look at some of the players that are ahead of them, you know, we talked about Karl Anthony Towns, who's at 20, right?
Right,
He's at
that's
20.
correct.
That's based on reputation. That's based on, the Towns a couple of years ago. The knock on the Sacramento Kings has been, they can't, possibly be as good because they can't have as good of health this season. Well, Karl Anthony Towns was injured last season. He missed a huge chunk, but yet we're giving him the benefit of the doubt and putting him in the top 20. So I have a problem with that. And I also have a problem with Tyrese Halliburton being ranked ahead of De'Aaron Fox. Tyrese is great. He's had a great start to his career. All-star level player, 20-10 guy. He's tremendous. But De'Aaron Fox just led his team to the postseason for the first time in 17 years. I think what De'Aaron Fox is, people are underestimating and downplaying. He was the most clutch player in the NBA. Doesn't that count for something? So it's not egregious. I don't think it's egregious to have him at 23, but to have him behind Tyrese Halliburton, I do have a problem with that.
Yeah, as we said, both Sabonis and Fox, they're ahead of some really good players on this poll for what it's worth. And it's not worth getting excited about, really, because who cares? But there are some players that are listed ahead of those two guys that I just think you're just trying to be, rational about it. It's like, well, that's just wrong. For example, in my opinion right now, number 15 ahead of De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell. To me, that's just wrong. And I know Donovan Mitchell.
Is it wrong now? I wasn't
that
upset about that one. Tell me why you think that was wrong.
I know Donovan Mitchell scores a ton of points and he's a good player, but I don't know, he doesn't do for his team what De'Aaron Fox did. And look at them last year, first round, they flamed out. So to me, I give De'Aaron Fox the edge there because of just the Jerry West Award, the clutch play, and what he's
what
he did for that team last year. But then you got like Dame, and Anthony Edwards and those guys.
How about Jamal Murray?
How can you?
How about Jamal Murray?
I don't have a problem with Jamal Murray.
Okay,
being on there. Let's see, where is he? He's
17.
I mean, Jamal Murray last year, just the way he came back from the injury, and then he was so great in the bubble, and he helps them win the championship last year. Let's see here, fully healthy, 26 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 7 assists in the postseason. I think
that was in the postseason, though.
Yeah, that's when it matters the most.
I guess.
That's your whole Brock Purdy quarterback.
No,
argument.
but the thing about Jamal Murray, there's a reason why he's called Bubble Murray or Playoff Murray or something like that. For Denver, I know they had a great season. They were tremendous. But I think why some people, didn't respect them during the season is because clearly Jamal Murray was hurt for, the first half of the season. And when he came back, he wasn't playoff Jamal Murray. He wasn't bubble Jamal Murray that really took off. And so, now if he's averaging 26 points per game during the regular season, my gosh, then, but you could argue Jamal Murray is this Western Conference version of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler plays well during the regular season, but then all of a sudden turns into playoff Jimmy. Does that make him better than De'Aaron Fox in those
I don't have a problem with it, but I understand why you do. And to that point, if you look at the new player participation policy rules that determine what a star is, Jamal Murray by that
he's never been an all-star.
Not a star,
right?
So he's not.
He's never been all NBA.
So
never been all-star. And so you know what? That's a little. I think Fox is closer to him than 17 to 23.
I like Jamal Murray, but I get your point. Let's see, and you got Paul George. When's Paul George going to win something? Huh? Is that fair to say?
And can you say Paul George is by clearing the way better than Kawhi? Like the only knock on Kawhi really is availability, which is huge. But Paul George's been injured also. He's missed games as well. And so, but I like Paul George. Paul George is a great two-way player. I'm not going to hate on that.
He's entering his 5th year with the Clippers. And those have been 5, not his fault completely, but the 5 very underwhelming Clipper years.
You know what? You said the exact right word, underwhelming. When they paired up, we were like, this is the best duo in the NBA. Who's going to stop them?
There's a championship team right there. I thought so.
I don't think they've ever made the Western Conference Finals even, those two together. And so, you could argue, I think they're both up for extensions after this year. Like they can both be free agents. And so you got to wonder what Steve Ballmer's going to do. Like, do you pay each of those guys 50 to 60 million per year when you haven't got any return on that in terms of winning?
Do you think it's realistic to expect Fox and or Sabonis to get better? Honestly, your honest assessment of those two.
Get better?
Yeah.
I don't think the numbers will be better. I think, maybe a little efficiency when it comes to Fox. Maybe a 3-point can be better, that kind of thing. For Sabonis, I think the regular season, he's going to put up his 19, 12, 7. He's going to be great. The jury is out on the postseason. Like, that's where he has to be better. That's when he can be better. I don't know how much better statistically he can be in the regular season, especially with the emergence of Keegan Murray.
When we come back, one way in which Domas might have to get better this year, and then we'll take you right up to Kings and Lakers coverage here on Sactown Sports. It's the Drive Guys. Also tell you how the Kings are going to be seeing a new Anthony Davis next year.
Yeah.
That and more next. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
At Ashton and Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Looking forward to some Kings basketball tonight. As far as we can tell, we know there have been some questions. Looks like the Kings will be, as far as we know, no issues with them tonight on NBA TV, right? As far as we can tell, there was some questions.
Yeah, that's what I heard,
I think we're good.
Right. I think, it shouldn't be blacked out in our area because, like we said before, it's not being broadcast on the Kings market. Like NBC Sports California is not broadcasting this game. But the only issue is, and we talked about it earlier, we've seen, last season, like Lakers games and Clippers games, for some reason, were blacked out in our market. And so I don't know if that's a cable thing or what. Hopefully that won't be the case tonight, but it won't be blacked out because of anything NBC did or anything like that. I would imagine if it is blacked out, it's because for some reason they think Los Angeles and Sacramento are the same TV market or something like that.
I'm kind of glad to hear that you had that issue because I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
And I thought somehow they've got my wrong zip code. They think I live in Los Angeles.
Right. That frustrated the heck out of me. And so you get home and you want to watch a game and you can't even watch it. So hopefully that's not the issue tonight.
Keegan Murray's not playing tonight, has a mild thumb issue, just precautionary. He's not playing.
Yeah, right thumb issue. I guess he banged it in shoot around earlier today. Just precaution. I fully expect him to be good come Sunday, but he's your prized possession. You got to treat him with kid gloves, baby gloves. You got to make sure he gets to the regular season.
So if you're coaching the team, what's your starting lineup tonight then?
I'm throwing Sasha.
Really?
I would put Sasha in at the 3. Yeah, 3/4, whatever. Him and Harrison Barnes, interchangeable. That's what I would do. That's not what I think will happen. However, maybe they go big. You throw Trey Lyles out there at 4 and Harrison Barnes at 3. Maybe you go Chris Duarte. That's a key question I'm going to be looking for. I would like to see Sasha play alongside De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Sabonis, and see how he can play alongside those guys.
Yeah, I think, we all would, but we all know based on what Mike Brown says, like, as you just pointed out, we're probably not going to see that for a little bit here.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of those things where when we heard about it, it sounded like, wow, he must be upset. But when you actually heard what he said, it was more like, well, we just, I don't know if he's going to be in the rotation. He wasn't laying down the law.
Right. It was, I'm still trying to figure it out kind of thing. Yeah. That's how
it sounded different than it read.
Right. Exactly. And so it shocked people when you read it. It came across Twitter. What? Sasha might not be in the rotation. Mike Brown is saying, I don't know the rotation just yet. So we'll see, man. I would love to see Sasha get the start tonight.
Darvin Ham is the coach of the Lakers. You know that play? The hammer play?
Yeah.
Did you know it's named?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I did.
Know in the playoffs last year, the Warriors ran it against him.
Did they really?
Yeah. And they did.
I remember hearing that on the broadcast or something like that.
They ran the hammer play against the guy that it was
named after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that from? When he was in Milwaukee as a player, I think it was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So Darvin Ham yesterday said he wants Anthony Davis shooting 6 threes per game.
Say that again. Say
Darvin Ham wants Anthony Davis shooting 6 threes per game. I want him if he can. I know he won't do it, but maybe he'll shock me. I've requested to see 6 3-point attempts a game 3 per half at least. I wouldn't put that on him if I didn't think he was capable, end quote.
You would not find a bigger believer in Anthony Davis's abilities than me. But 3-pointers, 6 of them, that's crazy talk, Darvin Ham. Let me just rattle off to you Anthony Davis 3-point percentage over the last, let's say, 5 years. He was a 25.7% shooter last season. Before that, 18.6. Before that, 26%. 33%, 33%. So maybe, yeah, but 6 a game when he's so dominant.
I want him mid-range a game.
Right. If you're a Kings fan, go ahead. We love to have you out there.
Yeah.
To me, that is opposite of his strengths. He's at his best when he's closer to the basket, mid-range, dominating the paint. If I'm a defender, sure, AD, you want to shoot threes? Go for it. All you want, shoot it, get it up. I don't understand that thinking.
Yeah, and he was just in the playoffs, shot a little better, but still only 33.3%. This reminds me of Domas, because I know Chris and I talked to Domas, and I know you talk to him all the time on Media Day, and I asked him, what are you going to do if teams play you? Not all teams are capable of doing this, but if teams defend you the way the Warriors did in that series, how are you going to counter that? And he talked about maybe taking more jump shots when they're there. He shot the ball really well last year, but he still only took averaged out to barely more than 1 a game. He was 37%, which is great. But I'm wondering if that's something that he may have to do at times if teams are just staying off of him, like the Warriors did from the opening tip of game 1 and saying, all right, what are you going to do out there now?
I think
the passing games on passing.
I think what Domantas Sabonis has to do is be decisive in whatever you do. You know,
I agree.
Against the Warriors, it was like you could almost see it in his head, like him trying to figure out, should I shoot? What should I do? Should I pass? Whatever you're going to do, just do it. If you catch it, they're sagging off, bang, shoot it. It's okay. Shoot it in rhythm. Too many times, in that Warriors series, he sort of like got himself out of rhythm. Like it just wasn't fluid. It didn't have any flow. And so I think based on the numbers, he can be a better 3-point shooter or extend his range a little bit. I don't want him taking 6 threes or anything like that. Obviously, I do think you got to keep the defense honest, but to me, it was his reaction time last year against the Warriors. He did too much thinking instead of doing.
It's a great point. I know you play golf. It reminds me of when, sometimes in golf you're between shots, but you don't know, okay, do I hit a hard 8 here, soft 7?
Right.
Whatever it is, you got to decide and do it.
And commit to it, right?
That's it. Totally commit to it. Like, this is my shot. So that's what he's got to do. When he's in between, whatever it is, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it decisively.
Yeah, and as the series went on, you could tell it got harder and harder for him. And, there started to be some groans and moans and fans, shoot it, or, just do something. Same thing on the interior with him. Stop pump faking so much. Just go up. You're the strongest guy on the floor. Just go up. And I hope that's something that the Kings work with him at. I know he worked with Doug Christie and Leandro Barbosa a lot this offseason. Hopefully that's one of the things. Whatever you do, Domas, just commit to it and do it. Don't second guess yourself.
I do think he's going to probably have to take more jump shots, because if I'm playing off of him and I'm clogging the passing lanes a little bit, I'm kind of taking away. All right, this is what makes you special up there.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to have to counter that. He's going to have to. We saw last year he's capable of making that shot. I think he's going to have to prove that you can't play me that way. I think as far as the improvement of those two players, we were just talking about how much they can improve. Fox, I see, he can improve his efficiency, his outside shooting. Domas, there's something like his outside shooting can be better, but he was so good last year. It's hard. And he's already been an all-star.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, we saw
the next
the
step
best.
for him?
Yeah.
In terms of statistics, is he all of a sudden going to turn into a 23, 24 point per? I don't see that. Is he going to get 14, 15 rebounds, 9 assists? Like, how much
he's averaging that many points, there's probably something wrong with the rest of the offense, right?
That's what I think. It's maybe Keegan Murray doesn't take that development that we want to see. And so I think 19, 12, and 7 is a perfect stat line for Domantas Sabonis, because he was tremendous last year. And so, his room for improvement isn't statistically, it's, how he gets his points, let's say, being able to knock down that 18-footer or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
so you can't play off of them like that.
Right, exactly, yeah. And the Warriors, I want to see, did they have the blueprint? Like, are other teams going to try to follow what the Warriors did to the Kings and make life for Domas that much more difficult? Yeah, go ahead. I dare you to shoot. And hopefully, like I said, he just does it. No hesitation. Because ain't nobody going to yell at Domas. Domas, why are you taking that? That's not, he's the guy. He's one of the guys. He has the green light just like De'Aaron Fox.
I know in the playoffs it's tougher for everybody to score. Things just slow down. They grind down. But that really was an effective way of slowing down a lot of what the Kings were so good at last year when you got the ball at the high post and the guy who makes the offense go because they run the offense through the high post and then he didn't know what to do. So I think they are going to probably see that a lot this year.
Right. Think about it. It's sort of like, playing 5-on-4, but the other way. Like if you don't have to guard Domas, now you got 5 defenders in their ability to defend 4 other guys. And so that's what happened. The offense wasn't as fluid. Give the Warriors a ton of credit. They mucked it up. Kevon Looney, also Domas couldn't overpower him when he did get inside. So that was a big reason why the Kings didn't win, I don't think. And so that's why if you start knocking down those outside shots, you got to imagine it becomes a little easier on the inside.
I do think the Kings should have won that series, and I do think they know that. And I think that's one thing that's fueling them going forward. I think especially Mike Brown knows that we had that series, and we let them off the hook.
Right.
That's a thing fans say, but I think that's honestly how they feel, and I think it's an accurate evaluation of that series.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one that, I would imagine haunts him and is biting him in his butt because they probably feel they were the better team. And I'm just on Twitter right here and news coming out. The Lakers are resting a bunch of their guys tonight. No LeBron, no AD, no Austin Reeves, no Jared Vanderbilt, no Cam Reddish. So, the Lakers are taking this one easy, man. They're like, we don't need our guys tonight.
All right.
That's disappointing, right?
It is. I think if I were, it's probably too late now because guys have their assignments. But if I'm Mike Brown, I'm not playing my guys.
Right. I'm resting my guys.
What has he got? Like 50 guys.
Right.
On the bench
He's got
right
a million guys. You still got 3 more preseason games as well. And so 2 of them at home. So maybe we only see Fox in the starters for a quarter or so.
Mm-hmm. And the players that Kyle Draper says need to play well tonight, I think we said.
Need to play well.
Duarte is one.
Especially no Keegan Murray. Like Sasha or Duarte, those minutes are yours. Like, who's going to take that jump? Who's going to assume that role? And for me also, I want to see Kevin Huerter get going. I would love to see, just 3 or 4 threes go down.
I thought I said that last game, and you're like, well, it should be okay. But it would be nice to make some shots.
Man, yeah. I thought about it. It's coming off that Raptors game, coming off that Golden State series, just for, not that I think anything's wrong or I'm worried about him. I just want to see him smile and see some shots going down for his own confidence.
Mm-hmm. He's got to make shots to be helping your ball club.
Yes. Yeah. And he was a big reason why that team got off such a hot start, had that 7-game winning streak. Kevin Huerter was lights out to start the season early on. I mean, he was leading the NBA in 3-point shooting for a long time, those first 2 months of the season.
He had a great season, and he and also Monk and Keegan Murray, they all should have been, and it's not a big deal. It's not worth getting all agitated about. But they should have been in that top 100. I don't understand what the people that put that together.
Yeah, they should do one before the season and then revisit it after the season.
5, that was a really dynamic lineup.
That was one of the best starting lineups in the entire NBA, right up there with the Celtics starting lineup. And so, no, I'm with you, man. A lot to prove for the Sacramento Kings. Some doubters out there. And so hopefully these guys can once again prove people wrong.
Enjoy the game. Back with you tomorrow.
I'm going to go find it somewhere, man. We're back tomorrow at 2:00.
Look forward to it. Thank you for being with us. Scott Marsh, Henry Turner, tip off your Kings coverage next right here, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah.